So 6 beers in, Mike Shank. How would you describe this dinner you had in one word?
Balls.
That has to,
Nope. Start the show. Start the show.
we never mentioned balls.
Start the show.
Farts. Like, just a word.
Okay.
Nicely done. You good with that?
Yeah, I'm good.
You're not going to wake up tomorrow and be like, I need to change the word.
For sure will.
And now for Dinner with Racers, presented by
Continental Tire.
with your hosts, Ryan Eversley and Sean Heckman.
Placeholder radio sound. I'm a driver. I'm very angry. This is the sound of a driver on the radio during a race.
What do you think I should order?
Welcome to Dinner with Racers Season 2. I'm Ryan Eversley alongside my friend and partner and co-host and lover, Sean Heckman.
I'm not sure that that's fine. Let it out. Let's get that out there. So we are currently stuck in traffic as we head to LAX to get Ryan back in a plane back to Atlanta as we wrap up a 40-day trek that went across 29 states and 12,000 miles to bring you 28 episodes of the second season of Dinner with Racers. Of course, all thanks to the Honda Odyssey that was provided to us by Honda, and with a certain set of tires that was on our car.
Continental Tire.
Cross Contact LX20. And when it comes to guests that we had to get, one undeniable choice that we almost had to make was IMSA stalwart Mike Shank. For those who don't know Mike Shank, he's been in sort of the sports car scene with Ryan and I for a very long time, but he's had a really, really storied history in the sport. He started as a driver. He ran his own Formula Atlantic team for several years, became really good friends with guys like Justin Wilson and AJ Allmendinger, and of course now Oz Negri and whatnot. And he has since, of course, gone on to start a very successful prototype team in IMSA and formerly Grand Am, and now running the factory Acura program in IMSA's GTD division starting in 2017. So a real cool story, but what makes him particularly remarkable among guys that run race teams is that he started with virtually nothing and he's still out there doing it, and it's something that from a grassroots level almost everyone gets behind.
Yeah, getting to hang out with Mike at his local bar, it was a show. You know, like we walk in, there's guys wearing the shirts and the team shirts. He's first name based with everybody. He orders a bucket of beers. I have to order a bucket of beers. And we just kind of sat there and shot the shit with just a dude that gets to run a race team. Some of the stories he told us about, like Sam Hornish, and then now like moving into the sports car world with GT cars. You know, kind of really unique stuff to him that he's getting to see. But what I took away from this as well is that no ego. No, I'm a big-time team owner. He just wants to go racing, just like I do. So I felt like 5 seconds after we sat down with him, because I didn't know him that well before this, that he was like a bud.
So we ate at the Copper Penny in just outside of Columbus, Ohio.
Really neat bar. Like, it's on the water. The water, it seemed like the tide was a little low, even though it's a lake. So I don't know if they regulate it with a dam or something, because there was no boats in there. But pretty cool little setup. We're sitting outside. People are coming by left and right, high-fiving Mike. I had the pizza, which I believe was probably pre-made somewhere else and then packaged, but delicious nonetheless.
And I had the chicken sandwich.
And I think I had like 7 Bud Lights or Miller Lights.
And he had an equal number of Busch Lights. So if you're passing through, you kind of have no choice but to stop and see Mike in Thornville, Ohio. Let's hear Mike Shank.
All right, we're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Fat head syndrome.
That's all right. Do your thing. How's that?
It's all good.
Cool.
Okay, all
All
good.
right, you can hear us okay?
Yep.
Cool.
Check.
All right, let me have you move the mic just a little away from your mouth.
Okay, check.
How's that? That good?
That's good for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Cool.
So Bill Riley's a dick. Go.
But I mean, everyone knows that though. and he doesn't hide it. I mean, he just is.
Right.
That's our show.
So
Thanks for
you
coming.
had what, 10 years of DPs with Bill Riley?
Yeah. So real quick, we bought a Doran in 04 when I came here from open wheel racing, or
Yeah.
came to sports car racing from open wheel racing, because he wouldn't sell me a
Because Bill wouldn't.
Because he's dick.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
We've already been over this.
Yeah,
So you're
okay,
the dickdom of Bill is coming out now. So he literally told me he couldn't sell me a car, but I knew by, I guess it would have been the third race of that year, I remember my engineer who's with me today, he and I said, we know we're in trouble. Ganassi and Wayne Taylor had the cars.
Yeah.
And we knew we were in trouble with the Dorn. It was a good car. It wasn't a horrible car, but the Riley was much better.
Yeah.
Sure.
And took a trip over to Indy because they were still in Indy. And we looked at them, and I just didn't have a way of buying one at the time. But it worked out pretty good. I ended up doing a deal with Paul Mears from Florida, the
Mears
Orlando.
Motor Coach. Yeah, Motor Coach, right.
And he decided to move from Sylvain's group to my group kind of through 05, I guess, into 05 with Mike Borkowski.
Borkowski.
Yes, yep.
Who we all love. And now that guy's a kinky motherfucker.
Yeah?
Oh,
Like in what
you
sense?
You should hear some stories about
So
Mike Borkowski.
I worked with that guy. Like, we interviewed my dad. My dad's an old crew chief guy, and he built some ST cars. And Borkowski was one of our drivers. So I got to work with Borkowski, but none of that came up. He was like squeaky
Here we go.
clean with us.
I'm from the Midwest. We're
Okay.
here in Ohio today.
Right.
I'm from the Midwest, pretty Midwest guy. Drink too much a little bit sometimes, but have fun.
Not enough, as far as we're concerned.
But with Borkowski, I mean, I saw some stuff in Miami that I shouldn't see with my Midwest eyes.
There you go.
But
Well, now I know who's on season 3.
Yeah.
he's an interesting guy. He'll talk you until you finally walk away from him. But anyways, God love him though. I mean, he helped get Mears to us with a Riley at the time, which is a hot commodity. And from there on out, I ended up getting Mark Patterson as a client, and he bought, full tilt everything Riley. And after that, John Pugh, and literally we were off to the races. We owned, over time, I've owned 6 of the DPs as we know it today. I still own the car we won the Rolex with 2012.
2012, sure.
We've restored it back to its Ford V8 time, and I'm hopefully sell it.
Yeah.
It's my retirement,
Right.
Because I ain't cut shit otherwise.
You should sell it now.
Wait, so you're saying that it's not a life of fame and fortune? Running a
Well,
team.
it's fun. I mean, I don't know. I've debated on how much to tell you guys tonight because it's an interesting story, but it's.
We need another beer?
I was going to say,
Well, I got a bucket. We got a bucket of
We got a
beer.
bucket here, yeah.
You can hear it in the
like,
background.
Just to set the stage here, which we're sitting next to a stage that's attached to a pontoon boat.
It is a pontoon
Yeah,
boat. That is a stage. And look how good it looks.
Wow.
Yeah, you need a tetanus shot to sit here.
Yep. Yeah.
But you walk up drinking Busch Light.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So I was
like
like,
you were here
damn.
before us.
I actually gave you shit because the top of the Busch Light can is orange. I was like, that better not be like a pumpkin spiced Halloween beer. And you're like, no, dude, it's
No.
Busch Light. I'm like, oh, touche.
Yeah.
No.
You win this one.
Nope. Yeah.
And then I order a beer, and you go, no, get a bucket. So now we have a bucket of beer here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
So-
have Aisha helping us tonight. She's awesome. She's
Yeah.
really good.
This is
This is, I live, a quarter mile from here. This is home base. It's called the Copper Penny. Every time we've won a major race, we come here.
Yeah, sure.
So
This
the
is
whole
the place.
group, the
Right.
place gets, there's 200 or 300 people here.
Yeah.
We've donated some stuff for them. And it's just, one of those places where we can golf cart over. Everybody knows your name.
Which you
Right.
did.
Which
Well,
I did.
yeah,
I got
I-
my jacked up golf cart out there.
I walked in, counted no less than 2 Mike Shank shirts.
Yeah.
On,
Yeah,
on the
pretty cool,
locals here. Like,
actually.
are you the guy? Or is this your town?
I've been the guy for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Why is there no DP like hood or something in here?
Well, I'll have
like,
Spiker go. The guy
there's
that runs
got to
this
be a
place is
pile of Yakima bits you can hang up on the
Yeah,
wall,
exactly.
right?
we have
We'll go back.
we can talk about that in a minute here. He's in Columbia, right? Like he won't.
Yeah. No.
He was a big hit on season 1.
Okay, we'll leave.
Yeah.
We'll leave him stay in season
Literally.
1. We have a Ligier nose cone around here somewhere.
Oh wow! So the most expensive thing you could
I'd say
donate.
that one could be reused, I believe.
Yeah, no, it's. I love it here though.
Yeah.
I mean, we're at the Copper Penny. This lake, we're on Buckeye Lake, 30 miles east of Columbus. It's a 7-mile lake, man-made lake, built in 1890.
Yeah.
And if you want to be in Columbus and live on a lake and have places to go eat and drink and have fun or whatever, this is the only place. And we've been here my wife and I, about 12 years probably. In fact, we live in a condo here. We're building a house out on the main lake right now. And my shop is 20 minutes back west.
Okay.
You drove right by it off
Gotcha.
the freeway. So it's a really nice place. And what I found is that everyone's pretty cool here. Again, drink too much probably, but when we come home, when we win a race, we come here and they always put a great party on for us.
Right.
And it's awesome.
So do they float that stage out with a band on it and let them just rock into
Tour of the city.
No, but I've seen some hellacious bands right there.
I bet.
It's crazy. It's fun.
Is it tribute bands? Is it all tribute bands?
Yeah.
Journey?
I'm trying to think of someone that's been here that you would know, but David Allen Coe.
No
you
shit.
know that, oh yeah.
No, she here?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's
But that's
awesome.
about it.
This
I
is the
mean,
thing of
That's
legends.
still pretty big for a pontoon stage in the back of a neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because we literally were like, where is it?
Yeah,
in
like
the
this
back.
is that's the thing. It's like this isn't like in a row of restaurants and bars. Like this is literally nestled between two houses.
it is.
Right.
It is.
And,
And it's been here for a long. Copper Penny. When you go in here, the bar is all pennies.
Oh,
if you
yeah,
go
yeah.
in the
okay,
night place.
okay,
I gotcha.
okay.
And this used to be just a big grass hill, and a couple owners ago concreted it and made it kind of reasonable.
It's a sweet setup. I like it.
it's
This
nice.
is my style.
I wish people could see what we're looking at.
Oh,
though.
they will.
It's
We'll
put a photo
We'll
up.
post plenty of
It's a
photos.
glorious channel.
Have you brought anybody else here? Like, do fans know about
So
this
I'm going to
place?
tell you a story here, and I know we're supposed to be light and funny.
Oh,
I'm
no.
gonna tell-
Are you
I'm
getting
good.
real?
Well, I'm just going to say one story because it still breaks my heart a little bit. Justin Wilson died in August of 15.
Okay.
And I thought it would be funny. He came. We found out that he was going to drive the Ligier at Sebring of 15.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we brought him here in beginning of February of 15. So it's all
probably
snow.
disgustingly cold.
And I took him back, and it was cold. And I took him back in there, and he was like I mean, you talk about a foreigner in a weird land.
Right.
Justin rolls in, doesn't drink a drop.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Everyone's
that.
pissed drunk around him. Everyone,
Got
and
that funny accent.
And there was a band in there playing super loud, so you had to yell to talk, and he took it like a champion. So and everyone remembers him coming here actually, and they all kind of They all kind of felt like they knew him a little bit
Sure.
by
Yeah.
the time he left, and of course then he passed away. But that's probably the most famous driver we've had.
Right. Right. Okay, so if we post a photo from here tonight, no one's going to know it except for your guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My guys.
Okay, cool.
The backside.
Say,
If
is
they
this-
can keep a secret. then,
Is
yeah,
this
we're
place
all
where
good.
you won the Acura deal? Like, did you wine him and dine him here over some bush lights?
Listen, Erickson.
It might have been. It could have been. Phone calls come quick around here. Many times I have to walk outside the gate to talk about
Right.
stuff.
Right. Yeah, this place is all right. But yeah, the thing that gave it away was there's like an exhaust, like a kitchen exhaust on the other side of the
Yeah.
building. Because I thought that's another house. I don't know where this place is.
You know, I'm pretty sure you could buy this place.
Yeah.
Ryan, if you wanted.
Well, I'm surprised this isn't Shanks on the water.
Yeah, trust
you
me.
know?
They Spiker, who you met, who kind of runs the place, he really cares about this place. So, drinking and owning bars always come up. The more you drink, the more you want to own a bar.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the worse it ruins your summer. I don't want to ruin my summer. I want to be able to come home from the racetrack and
Yeah.
and go
Not
get
have
out
to
on the
go to
boat,
work.
roll
Yeah.
in here on the boat. It's so different here in the summer. I wish you guys could see it actually, but that's just the way it is
Yeah.
right now. So.
No, it's legit. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
we were in
it is.
Aspen yesterday, or 2 days,
2 days ago, whatever.
at the Jerome Bar,
Yeah.
which was like
Let's just say the
pretty damn
180
pop-
from here.
Yeah. Like we were like, I guess I'll get a salad.
Yeah,
we have a
we
budget
were
to keep.
terrified
Yeah.
of the bill that was coming our way. Here, not so much.
My
Here,
wife
good.
said, don't take him to the Penny.
No.
Take him to the winery. I'm like,
No.
hell no. I'm
Yeah.
taking him to the
Yeah,
Penny.
no.
Because
this
I'm
is-
thinking
this is
this is
perfect.
real Mike Shank
This
right
is
here.
Perry County. This is Perry County,
This is
Ohio.
Perry
right?
County.
That's where you're at right now.
That's awesome. We were joking about this on the way here because last year in season 1 we, I don't remember why. because we used to ask people like, who would you punch in the face? So we can ask you that, but then I'll tell you why.
Yeah,
why
there's
we're
a
bringing it
reason.
up.
We
Yeah.
think about our last 60 minutes before we got here.
Yeah.
Punch in the
In
face.
the paddock, who would you punch in the face?
Man, I can't say that.
Why not?
You want me
You
to say
can't
that?
lie. You don't
well,
have to.
Well, you can say it. We could bleep it out.
Yep.
No, I can't do it.
All right. We'll wait for another beer.
I'm pleading the fifth. Hold on for a minute. I'm going to think about that.
There's got to
I-
be somebody
I
that
mean,
you're like,
that's
oh, I got nothing to lose with that guy.
there is a guy.
Yeah.
There is a guy.
All right. Andy Lally,
It's not Andy.
his number one choice was Yakiman. Like we didn't even get the word
Yeah.
face out. Like, who would you punch at the Yakiman?
And it was surprising because they're in different classes and they haven't had like real run-ins. But he was
Yeah.
so pissed off with when he was driving. I think it was for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
13.
he
Yeah.
drove like an idiot, and then tweeted like hashtag Senna or something.
like,
Like it was like, oh, good one. You know.
Because endurance racing is about patience. It's about thinking your way through.
Being smart.
And you had a car that was Gustavo Yakiman and Antonio Pizzonia.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Well, that year was tough. I mean, it's really tough. I felt upset, mad. the results, weren't great. They were okay, but not great. You know, it was tough. I mean, he I at the end of the day, I'm still friendly with him, mostly. And his father, who is a big part of his life, which can be really, really difficult, and that's no secret.
Right.
But again, they were always fair with me on the business side. The emotional racing side, though, was a disaster.
Right.
So financially, they always did what I want to be clear about that. They always did what they said they were going to do.
No, but that's a big part of it.
So, but the other side, everything else was tough.
Well, that's, I mean, you've been in many ways. I don't know if lucky's the right word, and I don't know. Pew.
Do you want me to flatten that Coke out some?
Where's this? Where are you going with it? What do you mean?
No, don't do it. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, no. I'll probably end up driving us.
All right, no problem. Go ahead. What was the question?
But like, guys like John Pugh and whatnot. I mean, I don't know them, but seem like very stand-up guys in every sense.
So it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's three guys in my world that propelled my wife and I to be here today, and that it started with Paul Mears.
Sure.
Yeah.
And Borkowski actually, and then. At the same time, I got together with Oz Negri, and Oz brought every bit of business you guys have ever seen our team run. Oz brought.
Right.
Really?
That's a straight truth.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you guys are more like a partnership. At that point.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's been on my payroll for this will be the 14th season.
That's impressive. Yeah, that's awesome.
And so they're
And he's notoriously a prick, so it's pretty pretty impressive to keep somebody like that around.
He brought Patterson, which led to Pugh, and
Yeah.
both these guys had Pugh had a 10-year run with me, Patterson had a 5-year run with me, and what can I say? I mean, they changed our world and positioned us to get looked at by the Ford program I did for 8 years, and that was good for us, and now the Honda thing. But
they don't.
What would you ask? What was the question?
They don't prepare you for the Yakiman family.
Well, I mean, one thing I was going to say, Pizzonia was one of the fastest guys we've ever had.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's really good. But again, there's a guy made a commitment to me financially.
Oh, he did.
His people did.
Sure.
I mean, he's an F1 driver bringing me money.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Okay. I signed the deal, and Yakimans wanted him. They were friends from Miami and South America and stuff, and all good. And then he didn't do what he said he was going to do.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And so he stopped paying me, and that's not a real big secret. And Yakimans wanted me to still run them, and I'm like, I went out and found the money so we could keep the effort rolling.
What a pain in the ass.
And we put Justin in the car.
Right on.
For that the rest of that year. But man, we got stories like that. So many thieves in the world.
And a lot of the people we talk to, like, we'll kind of run that question by them, like, hey, who's like one of Sean's favorite questions is like the fake sponsor finder, where it's like, oh, I got a guy, and I'm gonna bring you a deal.
I got a guy,
and it never shows up.
In last words, right there.
Right. But you probably get it on the driver's side too, from guys just coming up like, hey man, I've got this big deal I'm working on, and it's gonna be great. But then you like the Pizzonia thing sounds like was another one of those situations.
Another one.
And the guy was an F1 driver, so it's not like you're like, I don't know who this dude is.
I know you go on F1. If you go on YouTube and watch some of his F1 qualifying in a Williams car, it's like real impressive.
If you watch him in a Jag XKR street car, also really impressive.
Yeah, I remember
in
that.
A very
that was
different
bad.
way. Yeah, we were watching that.
That was
17 times.
probably the beginning of the end there.
We're gonna link that in your profile. Sean had never seen it.
I'd never seen it, and it's pretty fun.
That was bad, right?
Yeah. That's
Don't do that?
Don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I looked forward to having him on the team, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
And
what's the kiss of death expression like when you've got that driver? Because for you, I assume one of your biggest commodities is time. You're trying to run a team, you're all over the place. So all of a sudden there's this kid who's got a guy, and now he wants you to have lunch with him, and then he wants a marketing deck, and he wants all these things, and the whole thing is bullshit. And you kind of know it is, but you have to flush it out.
I can sniff it in 10 minutes.
Right.
I can sniff it in 10.
But there's this
I'll
compulsion
always
that you still
listen.
have to swing.
I always freaking listen to these people, though. I never refuse a meeting.
Well,
I wouldn't think you would either.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. You're always gonna walk the dog on it a little bit and see where it goes.
Yeah, right.
But 99% of it, goes away.
But is there a word or a phrase? It's like that's the red flag. So like I've got a guy.
Is a pretty good one.
In my world, whenever I hear the word synergy, that means how can we have you do a free video?
I just got one of these emails last night when we were in wherever the hell we were, Ohio. Remember, it was on Facebook, which is always how I know it's a serious deal.
That is a guy in prison. Yeah. You know what? Doing something weird. Yeah. Of course, I was part of Henry Zogabe.
Oh yeah.
I got a great
Oh,
story
shit,
about.
yeah.
I got
Did
a
we
great
talk
story
about him
about.
last
He's
year?
he maybe in passing, but we never really got into the Zoe.
That is a good.
You were
that
in
is a
that.
good
I
one.
got a great, really quick story.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my
Or
wife
long.
is killed. So I want to race cars. I want a race car. I
Yeah.
want to just race.
Yeah.
If you
Right.
tell me you're going to send me the money, I'll probably take off and go to the race.
Right.
Even if you haven't sent me the money. That ended about 8 years ago, and I got to thank my wife for that. Henry Zogabe made commitments to me financially, signed contracts, actually paid me. Okay, did what he said he was going to do. Then we got to the kind of
like what kind of in the millions or like for a one-off race?
I mean, he spent less than $1 million with me
Okay.
over a couple years.
Yeah.
In a suitcase.
No, he
No,
but
because
what
he
he was
wasn't-
doing, he was using Mike Rockenfeller's money,
Right.
Ryan
No,
DL's
yeah, no,
money,
I know
Peter
the story.
Barron's
Yeah,
money.
yeah, yeah,
I was
right.
getting it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm not laughing about that.
Right,
I'm just
right.
telling you
How
what
he
the
was.
reality
How it
was.
Right.
JC France,
Yeah.
AJ Allmendinger.
Right.
AJ got all of his money back.
That's pretty impressive.
Every penny of it.
That's awesome.
And I'll never forget this. He went to AJ's wedding to his first wife and gave him $10,000 in cash as a wedding gift. Just boom.
Of his own money,
Yeah.
basically.
Well, no. Henry gave AJ.
Right, that's what I'm
$10,000.
saying.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Of AJ's probably
his money, yeah.
So we had this final deal in 06 or something. We're rolling into Daytona, and he's like, Shank, I'm doing it. I'll send the money. He never came.
Yeah.
It's Henry, if it's not here by Friday the 13th, you're done. You're done. I don't care what. Oh, it's going to be there. 5 o'clock Friday doesn't show up. All right, Mike, the money's there. What are we doing? When can I get my seat and all that? I said, Henry, you're done. We're not. Mike, I sent the money. Bullshit. I
Yeah.
told you 5. Monday morning we get up. I tell my wife, go check the account.
Yeah.
There was $300,000 in it.
Oh wow. It
I'm
actually
like,
happened.
oh crap, he sent the money.
Right.
And at the meantime, I went on with 10 different plans Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah,
Literally,
yeah.
we started going forward,
Right.
and I sent him every dime back.
Ugh.
I sent him the money back.
You should have done the opposite and been
Yeah.
like, I never got it.
And that I'm just telling you,
You could out Zogabe
Well, so, but
Zogabe.
see, that's why you're one of the most. We don't really know each other, but you're one of the most liked guys in the paddock, and
I think
that's why.
And
Like,
we talked about this earlier that
Yeah.
like every driver I know that knows you a little bit, like
Yeah.
Sellers, Lally, Joey Hand, like all these guys are always like Shank's the man, Shank's the guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're clearly paying him off with that Zogabe money.
that's where it's coming from.
So,
But there are so many team owners, or
the-
one in Sonoma, that would just take that money and then just bullshit some deal and crew together that have no idea what they're doing and
Right.
just sort of take that profit. And you said, no, I can't do a good job. Here you go.
You know, it's weird. I just I don't know shit. I got the world's greatest story for you, and I think I should tell
Yeah,
it now.
dude.
It's
there
I
it
can
is.
no. This is an interesting one from a driver's perspective.
okay.
And it kind of goes along with what I try to do in life in racing.
Okay. Is
Yeah.
this the Zogabe story?
No.
Or- okay.
No, it's
let's
a Sam Hornish story.
real quick. Henry Zogabe is like he's just a dude from Daytona, right?
Yeah.
Like it turned out he was
His
just
mom
like,
owned a skin care company.
Right.
His mom legit owned that. I
And-
was in it.
And so he claimed to be a investor. He had some sort of investment.
Steel business.
Okay.
So he was buying steel in China or Indonesia.
So he
or
said, yeah.
something like that. He got
Right.
people to invest in this thing.
Yeah, and he went to like Ryan Dial and
Mike
guys like-
Rockenfeller,
Yeah.
Peter Barron, DL's father,
Yeah.
JC France, AJ Allmendinger.
Yeah, because he got something like $1 million or $2 million out of the Dial deal, which
That
I was
plan.
like, we have different problems.
Right.
I'm not losing $1 million to
Well, Ryan,
investments.
funny story. Ryan, well, God, I got so many stories. Ryan, the first
all
time
that.
Ryan ever came to the U.S., he drove for my Atlantic team in 02.
Right,
He was
right,
the
okay,
first team.
right.
And I got to know his parents then.
Okay.
His parents owned a bakery in Scotland.
Right.
And they sold it. And they made some dough.
Yeah.
But not enough, like, crazy, enough to be really comfortable, but not.
Yeah.
And so when I think about them getting ripped off,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, it's
not cool.
not
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Well, it's not good for anybody.
Right. But then he basically was using that money to then pay for racing. And with like Starworks and with you and just like
Tons-
kind of like
Kevin Doran.
right. And then it all came crashing down when it turns out he's a total fraud. And I think the DL got his money back, or he got something back because there was a whole article. I think it was on Racer,
Okay.
where they had like actual. They basically took the public documents about it and posted it, and it kind of explained the whole thing because he's in jail or something.
Yeah,
He's
no,
in
he
jail.
is,
Yeah,
He's definitely in jail.
So look that up. Google Henry Zogabe douchebag thing.
I like
and,
that.
And then,
You just made it real.
as Shank bites open a beer
Yeah.
can.
Okay.
Shoot it.
So that's the Henry Zogabe thing. If you're not sure now, you know. But yeah,
Yeah.
he's a douche.
Yeah, he took a lot of people for a lot of dough.
Yeah, and he turned out to be just some kid from like Daytona with a high school education.
And probably a top 5 worst driver ever been in IMSA.
Horrible.
Ever been in
Yeah,
IMSA.
yeah.
On top of everything else, you know. I just, you know, people like that deserve an ugly death.
Yeah. So Sam Horner's story.
So I feel like it's time to tell this story, and it's not a bad story, and but I still have the letter today to prove that I did this. But, and my wife talks about it today. So back in 1999, I had a 3-car Toyota Atlantic team.
Yeah.
Right.
We were pretty successful, results-wise, and Sam's dad, Sam Senior, is supported Sam all his way.
Yeah.
He's a dirt farmer, literally, but made a lot of dough.
Okay.
Up in northern Ohio, trucking company and a powder coating company. And he funded Sam all the way through the ranks and came up to a Toyota Atlantic, formerly 2000 Toyota Atlantic, and we started helping him a little bit because we're from Ohio. And Sam had done okay in Formula 2000. He ran with John Betos and Primus and stuff, and done pretty well, especially on ovals, right? Like, so.
That's the one thing Lally used to say about him. Like on road courses, he was okay, but on ovals, he was always exceptional. F2000 and stuff like that.
Beyond exceptional.
Yeah.
I mean, and when I say this, I'm not kidding. He's a top 3 ever on an oval in an IndyCar.
Yeah.
Sure. Ever. And that's a lot of company to talk, but I promise he is. His dad had just enough dough to keep Sam kind of going, more than you and I had, you know, and could kind of, you know, back in the day, the budget was like $750 per car for Atlantic. For Toyota Atlantic. So his dad came to me, and he wanted to run with us. We were running a Canadian named Kenny Wilden, who was very good. Yep. And I ran a deal for Panasonic with a Japanese guy. And then Sam's dad wanted to run with us.
Okay. With
Sam. And I came to him, I said, $750 grand. Oh, Shank, I can't do that, man. You know, I'm a dirt farmer. I got nothing. So, and so he's like, here's what I want to do. I want to pay you, I don't remember the number. I'm going to throw numbers, $400 grand.
Okay.
And then we're going to do a bonus system. And as he gets results, I'll pay you more. Okay. And here's how it's going to step out to be. And I needed another good guy. Kenny was outstanding, and the Japanese guy was just okay. But I knew Sam was good. And
how many ovals were on the schedule at that point?
At the time, there's 4.
Okay.
There's 4. And I said, oh man, I don't know how we can do that. And he's like, right at the end, we were going back and forth. So we agreed to X amount of dollars, a bonus structure. And he said, you know what, Mike? I'm going to give you 5% after taxes of Sam's career earnings. 5%.
Okay.
And at that time, it was like no one even knew. I mean,
Right.
I said, I'll take it.
5% of nothing, but
put it in the contract.
Yeah.
And I told my wife is my controller and stuff. She's like, okay, what's that get us? Like nothing. Right. So we go down the road.
Did what?
Yeah.
We go down the road, and he wins Rookie of the Year for us. He won 2 of the 4 ovals. And the other 2, he crashed one. But I mean, literally was. I took him to Phoenix once on the oval to test, and he would sleep in between changes.
Yeah.
Just like he was 17, 18 at the time, a kid. He'd wake up and just the outlap was flat.
Yeah.
And it just taking bind out of the car the rest of the time. Blew us away. Go at the end of the season. Dad says, "I'm going to take him to the IRL with a company called PDM, which is Poor Dumb Mechanics IndyCar team." Paul Diatlovich, and he ran there, and he about crashed Eddie Cheever the first race at Disney World in 2000. Yeah. But then he had a couple of good runs, and then John Barnes at Pennzoil team picked him up.
Yeah.
Right.
And he went on to win 2 more championships.
Right.
In the meantime, he's starting to make money.
Yep. And you got your 5%.
Well, no, I didn't. His dad chose to ignore it, and Sam never talked to me after that because they knew I had this thing.
Really?
I think. I don't know why he didn't talk to me. We spent a lot. It's a little rough for me to talk about, but he didn't talk to me.
And you knew him from when he was 17, so you watched him actually grow up.
Oh, yeah.
And you had no way to give him this deal.
And we'll talk about this later. I love seeing young guys move along in this.
Sure.
Okay, so so we get going, and he wins a couple IRL championships, and then Penske comes knocking.
Yeah.
Knock, knock, knock. Roger wants me to drive for him. So he signs a deal with Roger. I get a call from Caponegro, who is a big motorsports attorney out of Detroit that does a bunch like Andretti's and Hunters at the time. And they asked him, do you have any skeletons in the closet? Anything that's going to hurt you? And Sam's old man says, you know what? I got this thing with Shank. It's still hanging over our head.
Right.
I mentioned to it.
Now, up to that point, had you been like reminding him or on his ass or anything like that?
One time.
Okay.
Sam came. He just got married. And his wife and him came down here. And I said, man, we got to do something with that. Because at this point, he's won 2 championships.
How many races?
And you had to eat it. when he was in the car at
Yeah,
X
you made
Dodge.
your
I ate it,
sacrifice, yeah.
and I'll tell you at the end. And okay, as a part of this, in 2002, I almost went bankrupt. I mean, we had a horrible year. People left us. It was a nasty deal in Atlantic,
Right.
and I still had this deal. Sam's just kicking ass. He's just going this way,
Yeah,
right? And we survived that, and we never asked for a dime from Sam or his dad, and we had this deal in place.
Right.
So he gets this deal with Penske, and I get a call from, I think it's Capronegro is his name. Anyways, he said, Mike, listen, we want you to release him. I know this is here. We want you to release him. I'm like, well, okay. And he's like, well, for how much? He's like, nothing. We want you to release him.
Oh.
I'm like,
Well,
okay.
sure.
Oh, okay.
Well, how would that look? Well, Sam's dad made a mistake at the time. He didn't know where Sam was going to go, and this and that and the other.
Yeah, and I made a
That's
mistake.
the risk. Yeah, that's the risk you take with
That's
that
called
kind
an
of deal.
investment.
We hung up. I was talking to my wife about it, and we're talking. We probably, over the years now. If you count from the time he started winning championships with the Pennzoil IndyCar team through the Penske NASCAR
Cup
stuff,
team.
Yeah, right.
it's probably a couple, 2 or 3 million to me
Easily.
and my wife.
Yeah, right.
And as it turns out,
Yeah.
looking rear view mirror. So I got a call from his dad, and his dad said, "Mike, I made a huge mistake. I would have never done this. I want you to release him. I'm asking you. Actually, he didn't say I want you. He said, I'm begging you to release him for nothing." And I did.
Wow.
What?
And I did. And I feel good about it. I feel good about it in some ways. Sam came back and drove for me in 07 at Daytona with Helio Castroneves in 07.
Right.
And charged me.
Oh,
I had 2 Penske drivers at that
right,
time.
right, right. Helio.
And
wow.
Mark Patterson, paid the bill there, and now I have a tough. So if he ever heard this, it's tough because I don't feel like they ever appreciated it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of money left on the table that now is with his family, which I'm okay with.
Right.
But I got a lot of Busch Light to drink here.
Yeah.
And that's a real story. So
Wow.
there's a good one.
What do you think happens if he doesn't get that Shank ride in Atlantic that year?
I think that's a good question. I'd never thought about that. He
Like
would have got. His dad would have got a deal somewhere, but we had a fantastic oval car that year for whatever my guys were just on it that year. We had a really good oval car, and it wasn't. It was a huge changeover to get an Atlantic car to go from a road course to oval.
Sure.
And we just had a great setup. And I don't know. He drove around Alex Gurney,
Right.
John Fogerty.
Yeah.
All the guys back in the day. He damn near lapped.
Yeah.
It was a good deal. So, I don't know. It would have probably still ended up the way it is, but it just
But again, and to turn that around, that what that says about you, it's not just that you let him go. It's that this is the first time that story's been told. So you're not even trying to make
This
a
is
thing
absolutely the first time ever. That letter is in my bottom left drawer of my main desk right now.
Wow.
To Capronegro, that's saying, okay, we're clear.
Man.
of it. That's
And
unbelievable.
that means that my wife and I left $2 million at
Just
least
sitting on the table.
on the table.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'll tell you this real quick. AJ Allmendinger would have never done that. He would have never done that.
He wouldn't have left you hanging like that.
Never left
Yeah.
me.
Right.
Ever, ever, ever.
Right.
I still have love. The Hornishes, I have no, let them
You want to live
in
life
peace.
with a grudge, sure.
Right.
But it's just it's the high road mentality which makes my wife mental.
Right.
The more I've taken the high road, the more my career seems to extend.
Sure.
If you know what I mean.
No,
So
I don't.
I'm 23. I'm 23. So think about this. This is a fact. Since 04, there's 3 teams that are around still in sports car racing.
Yeah.
Period.
Right.
It's Ganassi, me, and Wayne Taylor.
Right.
And Wayne was with Bill in
Right.
04, so it's
Right.
kind of quasi, but legit he was there.
Right.
And it's hard to maintain that. There's a reason I think that
Sure.
we've been able to stay in business.
Yeah, just looking up real quick, Sam Hornish's NASCAR career earnings is $30 million. So 5% of that would be 1.5 mil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just NASCAR.
That's just NASCAR.
So
right.
so to say we had $2
Right.
million land on our table
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah. That's a
That's a tough nut to just give. Well, so on your wife, I can only speak for the girls I've dated. I don't think that would go over too well with me if I tried to sort of let go of that. It doesn't matter how good a guy I was trying to be. She's got to be pretty supportive if she's dealt with all this through the years.
Yeah,
So,
we've been married over 20 years now.
You guys are high school sweethearts, is that right?
No, we went to high school together,
Oh, okay.
but
Okay. Yeah.
we didn't get together till 5 years later or something like that. I mean, we knew each other real well, but
And that's in spite of we were given a photo.
Oh,
And I
we're
won't-
gonna-
the mullet.
Yeah, right
The
away.
mullet?
Everyone loves the mullet. Do you have it there?
Yeah, we've got it.
Yeah.
So did
It'll
she
be-
marry you during this time?
It'll be
Yeah.
on your link
Wow.
for your Dinner with Racers page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'll just have to see which.
did you meet her before or after this highlight?
If my hair was wet and I dipped my head back like this, I could almost get my waist.
The mullet's pretty bad, but the outfit
It's the whole thing.
is pretty awful
What-
too.
yeah.
I look like an Apple Vacation guy. You ever gone to a Mexican restaurant?
Where are you?
Seriously.
What is it? Where are you going here?
Yeah, what is this?
That is my friend. A wedding rehearsal we're getting ready to go to.
Okay,
Right.
we'll give you the
And this
outfit
isn't
then
a
on the
joke. Like
wedding.
this isn't like a clip-on wig that you're doing as part of some redneck party.
That is sweet. You can see her Dodge Daytona behind my hair.
Yeah.
My hair, if you can get past my hair.
Man,
That is
a
So what year is this?
That is 93.
Yes.
My wife's tried. She put that on a cake once. She had someone. You know how they.
So did she know you
right.
during this time?
That was yeah.
yeah, because she went to high
Shit,
school with him,
yeah,
so
so
she
she
knew.
knew.
Yeah.
Wow.
She actually thought it looked good, which is almost. It's on her, I think. I'm blaming her on that one.
So Shank married a blind woman.
Yeah. It was horrible. It was horrible.
Bringing it back to Hornets though, real quick. Like, so since it's all been let go and you're like moved on from it, even then,
Nothing.
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 You think at that point he calls and goes, "Hey man, thanks for
Right.
Nothing. No thanks.
And
Huh.
he still needed to be paid when he drove with you at the 24.
Yeah.
Jeez.
yeah."
All right. There's nothing we can
Yeah.
add to that.
Right on.
So
Speaks for
I
itself.
mean, they sent us Christmas cards for a while, and his parents did
Like
too.
printed
and
on money.
Yeah, I would say.
No?
But
they're
was it just
they're-
a generic
you know,
card? where it's
I don't
just
think they were
signed?
brought up to show emotion. I mean, they're
Sure.
just but it just
It's a bummer.
it just feels bad.
Yeah.
Feels bad.
Well, you know what? You get to tell that story because it's a $2 million story.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That's
It's legit.
That you. I wouldn't feel bad at all telling that
I
story.
remember specifically his dad told me, well, it's 5% after taxes. I said, okay, we'll take 5% after
Yeah.
taxes. No problem.
Fine.
And we signed the contract,
Yeah.
and we went testing immediately with them.
Yeah.
I mean, we did exactly what we said we were going to do.
I think if somebody did that deal with you or I, they'd get like 5% of debt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you
Have fun
owe
with
a
that.
lot of money.
Right.
It's crazy.
So
Yeah.
you and Allmendinger get together.
Oh.
Is that because of the NASCAR
No.
/DP deal?
No,
or
it was
already knew each other?
no, it was through Oz again.
Oh,
You know, it was,
really?
at the time, Justin and AJ were driving for Rue Sport
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
in 06, 05, 06.
And Champ
06, 06. Well, AJ won a bunch of races in 05 for Forsyth. He
Yeah.
got fired for. No, wait. How's
No,
that?
I thought he left
No, he
Forsyth
started.
to
Yeah,
go
he left
NASCAR or
Rue
something.
Sport to go to Forsyth.
That's what it was.
And had a killer. Yeah.
Well, he got fired from Rue Sport. Let's be clear.
Yeah,
he
he
got
was
fired.
with Rue Sport in Atlantics. Did really well.
Yeah, yeah.
Killed him.
him.
Just killed him.
Killed everybody. Went to Rue Sport. Was good, but it was a new team, single car, rookie driver, whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Wilson came in the second year.
Help the team.
Helped the
Yeah,
team.
yeah.
All of a sudden,
Pushed
Wilson was
AJ.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Wilson was winning races,
And AJ was.
and AJ wasn't. There
Yeah.
was fallout.
AJ was melting down.
Yeah,
Huh.
they parted ways. Any more than that, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Forsyth picked him up because they couldn't lose the lone American that was worth a shit in
Yeah.
cart at the time.
So the Canadian sponsored team picked him up.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
right.
So
The
the Canadian
Canadian-owned
sponsored team,
team, yeah.
and then of course he was,
He won 5 races in a row. He beat Bourdais.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
beat Bourdais.
That's the thing I always think about when I think about Allmendinger is that he left the sport like, yeah, I
That
just
stuff is
slaughtered
good.
your guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to go race stock cars. I can come back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when stock cars run out on him, he's like, cool, I'll just do Indy cars.
Well,
Yeah.
how many open wheel guys are still in it's NASCAR?
right. Exactly.
After the whole wave of
Yeah.
them went.
Yeah.
It's AJ.
Yeah.
And
Casey
Tony
Mears.
Stewart's
And
retiring.
Casey
but
Mears.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true. That's true.
Who?
Yeah.
Casey Mears.
Casey Mears, good
Yeah.
call.
That's-
Yeah.
you're right.
Hey, Casey Kane ran F2000. So
Fair enough.
he's still there.
But no, but to
I
your
got a
point-
Casey Kane story too. But,
Oh yes, you do.
Cool. Matching tattoos.
But the no, but AJ actually what really changed for me is in 2002 we almost went bankrupt. Atlantic season went to hell. I was running Ryan DL.
Yeah.
Ryan, I was engineering Ryan's car in 02, and it started out really good. We finished first race in
Yeah.
Mexico City, P2. We're like, God, we're killing this, and me engineering. So I take my notes from my real engineer and
Right.
put them over on Ryan's car, and
Right.
we kind of kept up with during the session.
Yeah.
Well,
Who was in the other car?
Sepp Coster.
Oh, yeah, I remember
Yeah.
the name.
He was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Barber
Yeah,
Dodge
remember
guy.
those.
I'm trying to think. There's a third one too. I can't remember his name.
That guy's crying right now hearing this.
But
It was me.
but listen to this. Poor Ryan. Ryan, so
Hang on a second. Poor Ryan.
Well, let me tell you, at the time, I
3
was
rides and anything he wants right now.
now,
DL?
now,
yeah,
it
yeah.
is,
Poor
but,
kid.
But back then, though, I'm telling you, he left us, and when he left us, everyone left. So he went from us to the best, probably the best team at the time.
When you say everyone left, you mean the crew or the
clients?
The clients, yeah,
the
copy.
fathers.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, because they all hang out. They're
Yeah.
little wives' clubs.
So by the end of 2002, we were about out of business, and we were trying to run Ryan because I knew he was good, but we didn't have the full budget. But like I didn't hire an engineer, I did it, and that really caught. And so 2/3 of the way, his dad pulls Ryan, and they go to
Sierra.
Yeah. No. Keith Hilton.
Oh,
Hilton
yeah.
Motors,
Okay.
Hilton
Right.
Motors.
Okay.
And he's on pole the first race with them.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the
Just
death kill.
Yeah.
Rodolfo Lavin.
Yeah,
That's who I
I
remember. The
remember.
Mexican with
Yeah.
Corona
Yeah.
sponsorship.
Chrono, yeah.
His dad came in one day at a race, and this is after Ryan had left, and Rodolfo wasn't great anyways, but he had an excuse.
Yeah.
He brought me literally $15,000 in cash, and he owed me $300 more grand.
Right.
Yeah. He said, "Here's $15,000. We're leaving you. And that's all we're going to do." And poured a bunch, literally cash
Made
on
it
a bed,
rain.
on a freaking hotel
You're like,
bed.
where are we? Yeah.
And took it home.
You don't even get to keep the briefcase?
I took it home.
What a cheap dick.
I went back to my room and I threw the money on the bed. I said, "This is what we got from the Lavins." My wife was there.
Yeah.
My dear.
Does she go to all the
Wow.
races?
No.
Okay. But yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, great." And anyways, so we had to lay off some people. We had to come way back.
Yeah.
We had a transition year in 2003. We ran a Formula Renault car.
Fran-Am or whatever it was
Fran
called?
Am,
Yeah, I
a
remember
kid
that.
named Matt Green who had a father that could afford it. But the minute I switched to Jim France deal, my life changed. That was it,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah.
Once he saw I was willing to
'Cause
put
you were
my
sort of
house
an
up
early
for
adopter,
I had
yeah.
a loan, so my wife and I put our house up here, everything we had, and once he saw that I was willing to do that, then that was it.
You're his guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it. It was just, I mean, so from then on, and now he didn't help us or anything. I mean, a little bit, but not with money, other ways.
Sure.
With banking. There were,
Sure.
So we'd have to put so we had a contract to have a deal, and we put our house up, and, we put all these things together, and he stood kind of behind it more than anything. But we had to financially make it on our own. But
So he gave you he said, if you go DP racing, I'll give you a lot of my resources in terms
Yeah.
of banking, in terms of
Yeah,
connections to go.
Yeah.
potential
Go
sponsors,
start a
we'll
DP
try to
team.
get you.
Right.
He had his own team and everything. He
Yeah.
was trying to fund, but
And
he also was.
Was this sort of a chess move in terms of trying to get more Atlantic guys to cross over?
So I think
Okay.
he would. I don't know if.
Sure.
And it happened.
Right.
So
Yeah.
myself, Steve Cameron,
Yeah.
John Fogarty, and that Garrity and the whole Red Dragon
Gainsco,
guy
yeah.
all came from us.
Yeah.
There was one more too. Well, like Bobby Orgel's still
Yeah.
there today.
Yeah.
I mean, he's I think the idea was, and I helped him. We did a test. I tested Gurney, Fogarty, and another guy I can't remember, another Atlantic guy. And I did whatever I could for Grand Am to get the Opal Mill guys to the early days of DP.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that paid off huge for
Yeah.
Jim and I.
Yeah.
And a couple of my guys that are still with me today that you've seen around the track are, worked for 3 months
Right.
with no pay.
Right.
I mean, I'm not bull. They were.
Jesus.
I mean, the stressful thing that I have about racing, and you're not. I mean, at some point when you're married and stuff, and you still try to keep racing,
Yeah.
is in our world we're mostly. I mean, you got a great relationship with Honda, but we're out of business every
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah. I had a 2-year deal going into this year.
Yeah.
So at the end of the year, right now,
Yeah.
I'm like, I know I'm good, but this is new because it's been a little while.
I feel for my wife that she has to, every year wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
What's going
we've
on?
had 23 years of
Right.
of solid stuff.
Right.
So.
Now, and she's not really a race fan.
Well,
you'd say.
I mean, she's grown.
She
into
accepts it, I'm sure,
She-
sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, she knew what she was getting into and stuff. But it's, overall though, racing has been great to us.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
if
for
you
sure.
if you just try to say, okay,
Right.
I mean, I'm, just a few key right timed moves.
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
before Atlantic went away,
Right.
we got out of it.
Yeah.
Right when DP was building,
Yeah.
we got in it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you guys were there when it was like a big deal.
Yeah,
You-
I mean,
you
like
know.
when we had 18 or 22
Yeah.
cars,
And probably 2 years before it really tanked.
Yep.
So-
Yeah, that's
That's
right.
not being funny. Like,
But, yeah.
2004 or 5, wasn't what
And
it was.
then
so.
we ramped up, and then we had 2 cars during that time.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a big big program, and I tell Patterson to this day. I mean, he knows, Pugh knows. They kind of know where they rank in my world,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And how we got.
And so for a guy like you, the Acura deal now, I mean, to me, that's the ultimate trophy, right? Is to get that factory deal.
We need to hit it out of the ballpark, and I don't
Right.
plan on. And that's why I hired Tim Keene, and that's why I'm hiring guys. Got a few people that I think are critical to making sure we're successful. And,
Right. And your first test is, you're leaving tomorrow.
Yeah,
to go
I
do
mean,
this, right?
RTR, his team's still running. I mean, if you can imagine, RTR has been doing this with Ryan, and we're kind of merging in, right?
Right.
And it's fine. His guys are Nate and Mike and Troy and all those guys.
Troy likes working with you guys.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
There's like my crew chief has been with him all week and just try to understand. That's actually the easy part.
Because I assume the scary jump, it's how do you deal with the politics of a manufacturer? How do you deal with performance? And you're coming, obviously you guys did well in IMSA, but you're going into a whole other category with really, really strong teams who've been doing GT style racing for years.
Yeah. No, I get that. But at the end of the day, good people are good people.
Sure.
And although the GT3 cars have, it'd be nice if we all had years of GT3 experience. It wouldn't be the worst thing, but it doesn't scare me at all.
Sure.
And we're knee deep in it already. My guys are, I feel, in a good place. And Ryan will tell you this. I mean, we're waiting for our real race cars. We're using this test mule that he's driven some. And now it's updated. I think we got the latest spec with it. And we'll get some time before we get our new stuff in December, which will be great. And the thing is though, how we manage the BOP, that's always kind of, no matter what brand it is. Unfortunately, we still got to manage the BOP side of it. And
one of the things
I think I'm pretty good at it.
Right.
But there's always different levels that.
Well, and I assume BOP in something like GT3 style racing, where you have tremendously different configurations, versus DP, where
it's a lot of the
they're semi-similar compared to GT3.
That's true.
The BOP game is probably very, very different.
I'm sure we'll have a lot to learn.
Right.
But I know the IMSA side of it pretty well, and how what they're looking at now, which is that's advanced. The IMSA,
I said an IMSA hates you.
well, you know what? The IMSA side is actually, if I look back at where we were 2011, 12, 13 to where they are now, they have the tools now to make better decisions.
Right.
Okay, now if they get applied, I can't always control that, but I know what they're looking at now.
So, we mentioned it real briefly, but I don't think a lot of people realize there was a Mike Shank, the driver, for a while.
Yeah.
So tell me, because you started doing club racing way back when.
Yeah, late 80s. I mean, I was really young then. And Taiga Sports 2000 was the first real car I owned and drove. And I was a line mechanic at a Mazda Maserati dealership here in town.
Which is an interesting combination.
Yeah, it was. And I worked on Maserati bi-turbo.
How many Maseratis were they selling here in
Central
Ohio?
They moved a few, actually.
Okay.
I mean, and they're a horrible car. Horrible car.
Yeah. Continue to be.
Horrible car. And
in fact, only Honda products seem to be.
That's really all there is. Yeah.
But I made enough money to get loans, so I got a loan, $10,000 loan for the Sports 2000. I could pay that, and eventually people started asking me to work on their cars.
Okay.
Car dealers and the doctors and attorneys, the guys could spend $100,000 a year or something.
Right.
$80,000 a year.
Yeah.
And we did that, and I drove my car, drove their car, developed, test, all this, The better I did driving, the more business I got.
Right.
I figured out a way that I could have my race car over here, and then 10 other over there, and kind of throw mine in the trailer.
Right.
That's literally how we started this.
Sure.
And we went through, and all the way up through '96, I won the C2 championship in Toyota Atlantic, which is for, at the time, older Atlantic cars running with the current cars.
Right.
In '96, that year, Patrick Carpentier won.
The big class.
The big class.
Yeah, he was in the Forsyth car, right?
No, he was in the Lynx Racing.
Yeah.
Oh, he was in Lynx.
Yeah. And I won the C2 champion. We had 32 cars total, and there's 11 in our class, and they had the rest of them.
Atlantic, like we talked about this with Joey Hand. Atlantics for the longest time was like cooler than IndyCar. You know what I mean? You're like,
really good.
That's where it's at.
I remember testing at Milwaukee with Joey. He wasn't on my team. He was on the team called DSTP.
Yeah.
And he spun and hit the wall so hard he broke his back.
Episode 4.
Yeah. It broke and came all the way down. Came down the front straightaway backwards with nothing on the car but him and the tub.
Season 2, episode 4. You'll get the full story.
Yeah. So go to Joe. Click on Joey Hand's episode right now. He talked about that.
Yeah. I remember it.
He told the whole story.
Joey and I are tight, man. He's a good dude.
So you see the Joey Hand crash, but you're racing C2 at the time.
No.
This time you were a team owner, because this would have been like 2000. Yeah.
That's exactly right. Year 2000. So I'm beyond. What I guess my point is, I'm all over the place here right now, but
That's fine.
my point
Keep drinking.
my point in my driving is when I was driving a lot. So I was driving my stuff, testing other people's stuff,
Yeah.
doing the C2 thing in the car a lot. I was slightly above average,
Sure.
as it turns out.
Right.
I thought I was pretty damn
Yeah,
good.
that's like me and PR. I get it.
But now I've seen so many incredible people.
Right.
It's just like, holy crap. And people ask me all the time, do I miss it? And I'm like, not even a little bit.
Really?
Right. No, I don't
Huh.
miss it even
Really?
a
Okay.
tiny.
Not even just driving to
and,
drive
and
something?
now I can kind of afford. I could probably afford to do a
You can
little
do
bit of
something.
racing.
Yeah.
But I want to be out here.
Yeah.
On the boat.
I get that.
Oh,
No,
that
yeah,
I get.
Yeah,
I-
getting
I-
away from racing part now. That's how you want to spend your time.
I surf. I wake surf behind my boat, and I'm good.
That's cool.
I don't need.
Shit, listen to that.
I don't need to just to go make bad decisions in a race car, which I did all the time.
So you got to actually do an IndyCar race. You raced in the Indy Racing League.
Yep.
At
One time.
Vegas, I think.
One time.
What car was it?
It was our buddies, Bill Riley. And he just on the phone begged me not to talk about it.
Yeah. No. Now you're talking about it.
Yes.
So I just networked. Networking. That's
Yeah.
what I wish I had a degree
It's
in.
a big deal.
You need a degree
It's a
in
big deal.
networking.
Yeah.
It's a
So
big deal.
I networked with a guy named Bob Nienhaus.
Okay.
And Bob had sold a company, made a bunch of dough, and he loved racing. And he decided he picked me and our little team
Yeah.
to do a startup IRL team, because that's what the original concept of IRL was great.
Right.
Because at the time you couldn't get in car. You and I never.
Never. Yeah,
ever.
right, yeah.
Right.
But at the time, so
And arguably a semi-similar model to what DPs were trying to do.
well,
Yeah,
yeah,
years later, yeah.
yeah, but and the problem is that oh god, there were so many problems. But I mean, you think about Sam Schmidt being paralyzed,
Yeah,
and
right.
Salazar getting, I mean, just
Yeah,
bad
yeah,
things
yeah.
happen in these old
Yeah.
in those cars. But but here's the end of the story was for a kid in the '90s, for me, I got to do an IndyCar race.
Yeah.
because of
that's
the
something.
IRL.
Yeah, you'll always
And
be IndyCar driver Mike Shank.
Well, I finished 13th, a couple laps down. I'll never forget Roberto Guerrero. At the time, he was driving for the Benzo car.
Yeah.
Barrel rolled right over me down the back street, bounced off the wall. Slid job me, bounced off the wall, and literally barrel rolled down.
Right.
And I'm like, this is not
What are we
good.
doing?
Right.
Yeah.
The Riley, we went with Riley when Dallara and G-Force were there. We did it because I don't know why we did it.
Yeah.
I believed in the bullshit that Bill was telling me at the time.
The best part is you're looking at the Bill Riley
I'm looking
cutout
at him
as
right
he's
now.
saying it. He's looking right at fake Bill Riley.
I spent 17 days in Vegas, did my rookie test, got through that, qualified either last or second to last. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And I kept saying to him, I'll never forget this. I'd come in, I said, I think the car's pushing. I mean, I don't have any feel on the front nose. I don't know. Rookie team, rookie driver, right? And I'll never forget Bob Riley.
Yeah.
Bob Riley got pissed off finally, me whining about the front
Really?
end. He got on the front wing and went like 5 times. I'm like, oh, I mean, this thing is going to be pinned. I mean, I'm going to be – and I go out, and still the thing's just it's just completely numb in the middle of the
Right.
corner. I'm turning, and I'm trying to be flat, and the thing is like – I'm like, what?
Right.
I have so much steering in it, the thing tries to snap around me on the exit. So I did the race. Steve Cameron was my spotter. I'll never forget that.
Oh, wow.
He was trying to be nice to me. I looked like a
Yeah.
up there. I was horrible. Immediately, I get fired. My team was prepping it. We're all fired.
Really?
House takes it.
You're out.
Davey Hamilton, they decided to bring Salazar in, who won that race actually that day.
Wow.
Okay.
Jeez.
To drive the car, and I was so happy to hear he said the same thing. He went a little bit quicker, I think I was told, but he hated the car.
Yeah.
And that deal went on to Davey Hamilton driving for
Yeah.
Nienhaus.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
a Reebok-sponsored car, and that's kind of the genesis of that. But from that point forward, I don't know. I don't. There's no blame for Bill, believe me, because we've done well
But he
together.
ruined your career.
He ruined it pretty much.
Yeah.
And so we still got to debate how he's going to pay me back for that at some point. But
So when it comes to young aspiring drivers, obviously between your relationship with guys like AJ and whatnot, you're a guy who's sympathetic, who understands young drivers trying to come in, guys who don't have money. Lally told us a great story about the first couple times he tried to go to Kevin Dorn and introduce himself. It hit a point where he was putting his name in the bathroom with like little.
He was the tear-off.
He was a
sheet
tear-off
guy.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, a fan made a Dinner with Racers tear-off thing at Daytona this year. It was in the bathroom in the IMSA paddock.
Really?
And
Yeah.
yeah.
In
That's
tribute.
sweet.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
sweet.
Yeah.
So
First of all, Kevin Dorn is an intimidating dude if you're a young
Yeah.
guy trying to figure it out because he's just angry. You know,
I had
he
a
can
great.
come across as angry.
I had a great running with him on the video side of life, and it wasn't pleasant. But
he yelled at me once.
but
He can throw a radio further than you and I.
Yeah.
He can pitch a radio.
Yeah.
But that's so like you're a very approachable guy, so that's got to encourage young guys to come up to you. Which on one hand I'm sure is cool, but on the other hand it means you've got a lot of guys coming up to you.
The worst thing about this position is telling people no.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing, especially young guys that I would actually love to have the budget to run 4 badass young kids.
Sure.
I would love it.
Right.
It's just not reality.
Right.
And the reality is, this is the only way I make my freaking living.
Right.
Like I hunt it, kill it, and eat it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's no trust fund. There's no other business that bails me out when I've spent 250 grand too much.
Right.
This is it.
Right.
So I don't. It's not trivial. Like I don't play
Right.
at
Yeah.
all.
Right.
And if you fuck with my program, then it's literally taking food out of my copper penny
Yeah.
dollars.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
It's a lot of bush light.
However, saying that though, someday I'm going to be able to run some young guys.
Yeah.
Right.
And do what I want to do,
Right.
and whatever that may be. We got to do Le Mans this year, which is a huge bucket list thing. You know, still need to do the Indianapolis 500.
Yeah.
Almost
Yeah.
did it this year with Gabby Chavez
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Honda, but didn't quite work out. But
Right.
I would have liked to run the 100th Indy 500 and Le Mans the same year.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which there's only Chip got to
Yeah,
do that
for
this
sure.
year.
Yeah.
You know, so the worst freaking part of my job, I'm telling you, is telling people no.
Sure.
I've said no to so many people in the last 2 weeks.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
on the NSX deal, of course. Yeah, because this is
So
your
this-
first.
I was gonna say we have a mutual thing going on right now that I'm sure every driver's walking up to you, and then every driver walks out of your meeting and then texts, Facebooks, tweets, whatever me, going, "Hey, if you could put in a word with those guys, that'd be really great."
It's a little late in
The
the
problem,
program,
like
yeah.
I had 2 pros in the last week, good pros that know how the business works, send me like, "Hey, I'm a silver," or, "Hey, I don't know who's going to be in the long races," and I'm like, "Dude, that was announced
Yeah, that's
a month
October,
ago,
right?
Yeah.
and it was rumored before that." Like,
Yeah.
it's too late to ask me now.
There are so many, and you know this, Ryan, there are so many, when people see who's going to drive all of our cars,
Yeah.
in your program and my
Yeah.
program, and they look at it and they're going to judge it,
Yeah.
okay, and which is fine, but they just don't know the story.
Yeah.
There is
Yeah.
so much to what goes on to successfully put both of our programs.
Right.
I'm pointing at Ryan, but the Pirelli program and the MC program, we have a lot of pressure on both of us.
Yeah.
I would think that's fair to say that
Yeah.
this car is such a badass car, and the people in Marysville, which I was just up there last week,
Yeah.
getting to see, these people have so much pride in that car.
Yep.
I take it serious that we
Yeah.
do a good job.
Yeah.
Sure. Right.
Is there ever a guy you don't like that you're happy to tell no? Because there is a guy, I'm not going to say his name, but there's one guy that we don't care for in the Honda world that knows that we don't care for him, and he's still like, "Hey, how do I get in that Shank car?"
God, I wish I knew who that was.
Hey, I'll tell you later.
Well, so where I was going is like, Ryan and you have had, 3 or 4 conversations over the years, and
think
yet
so.
you've registered his career before
Yeah,
we
that's.
ever
I'm
showed
like,
up.
I'm like, that's got to be the.
But that's where I'm going. And so, like, for that guy that's looking for the ride, who's proven himself or whatever, like, what does somebody do or not do on your register when they're talking to you?
You know what it is, and and this was my premise back when I was. I need to know who you are because
Yeah.
I'm busy during the weekend,
Right.
And I need to hear you on the PA system, your name.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Or in our haulers, we've got a track feed.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and the TV's always on.
Right.
And you're always at the top of the list.
Right.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
I'm pretty soon because I kind of drift into like I'm watching the TV now in the lounge, right?
Right.
And your name's I need to know who you are. I need
Yeah.
to see that you're.
So somebody just comes up and says, "Hey, I'm so and so." If you didn't see them on TV, you didn't hear their name on the track.
I mean,
they
I
kinda
need
aren't-
I need
Well, it would
performance.
help.
I need performance to start with.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I need
that's the
performance. I
number
think
one thing, right?
think
A
that's
winner's a
right.
winner.
Right.
Like, I mean, there's going to be times that a guy has a BOP, he going his way, and he cashes in a couple times.
Yeah,
but
that's
if
me,
there's a
yeah.
guy or a girl that, well, I'm just saying. Well, if it's constant results,
Yeah.
like you at Mid Ohio this year, You went from
That
eighth
was
to
crazy.
second.
Yeah,
Eighth
I
to
stand
second.
behind that result.
Yeah.
I know we had a good Road America car, but Mid Ohio we sucked and we got second. I was like,
well, that's what I'm
money.
saying.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if you're asking about what
So you need someone that can get results as the number one.
that starts with,
Yeah.
and then it's decision making,
Right.
and that's to the people that drive our car this year. It's decision.
Yeah.
The ability to make really good decisions in an environment that's really harsh. You know, Andy's done a great job at managing being the slowest car on the track.
Right.
Yeah.
His group,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right.
And understanding when it's time to give the corner up to the 3 cars coming by me.
Right.
And which unfortunately puts me 300 yards behind the guy I was on his bumper with 2 seconds ago.
Are you prepared for Andy on the radio?
I don't know.
Okay. We'll find out.
I don't know.
Okay, so here's the one thing. Again, I'm assuming this will be public by then. But funny enough, we were recording one of these episodes at in Brazelton area right after Petit with Johnny O'Connell.
Okay.
And we're having lunch. Can you pass one of those, Sean?
Yeah.
We're having lunch, and we finish up our episode. We go out and film the little Bill Riley thing, and then we come back in to like clean up. And in the booth sitting next to us, who was there the whole pretty much the whole time, we didn't realize it, Oz Negri.
Okay.
And we're like, oh, dude, hey. And we're like, we don't have time, but we could get him right now.
Yeah, he'd be good.
You know,
Yep.
he is like, he and I don't have a background. We don't like know each other very well.
Yeah.
But he is so nice, friendly, supportive. I feel like he totally gets like one driver trying to make it to
He does.
another. You know.
Yeah.
We were like,
Oh,
hey,
that's yours. Oh, great. Thank you. Awesome.
we were like, hey, can we get you to sit with Bill Riley real quick and mess with the cardboard cutout? I was like, done, totally. Of all the people they were talking to, because I'm very pro-American because I know how hard it is to be an American
Yeah.
trying to get these rides. But I asked Oz, I'm like, are you getting it? And he goes, I think so. And I'm like, are you going to the Sebring test? He's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, you're getting it. And he's like, yeah, I think it's going to happen. And I was like, I'm very happy for you
Well,
because he's so deserving and.
Well, he's I mean, listen.
Let's take the rankings out of it. He deserves it.
He does.
regardless.
He does.
But it's like perfect situation.
He's and I think if you ask Catherine, really, if you put Catherine under the light and ask her who's the coolest guy she ever drove with,
Yeah.
it'd be him. And it was just one day. It was
Right.
one freaking weekend at Detroit.
Right.
The thing I like about Oz is he is a great teammate. He's not going to undercut you.
Right.
I guarantee you he will not do something to your weekend up. As a competing driver trying to keep jobs, he's beyond that. He's way beyond that, right? He wants to win races. The way he sees it is that the better we do, the better shot I have at staying around.
Right. Absolutely.
And that mentality has kept him in a job for 14 years. Oz will never screw you, ever, ever. He'll do exactly what he says he's going to do with passion.
Yeah.
And as per last weekend, I mean, or 2 weekends ago when we won Petit, he still can get the job done.
Yeah, he was like, it was him and Pla.
Him and Pla.
There's him, Pla, and Durrani, and everyone. Not saying the kid's not awesome. Pippo's awesome, but it's like
awesome.
Pippo walks on water.
Yeah.
And Pla, and Oz is right there with him on pace. To me, I thought that's so cool.
Yeah, it was great. And here's the best thing. He's brought these relationships along with Mark Patterson and John Pugh and other people too that you don't know about. And next year he'll get a run for a championship, I hope. And he'll have people that he'll have the same crew supporting him. He'll get an honest shot at it. And I'm grateful that he gets to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just. There are times I remember a race in '06 in Phoenix, and him and Christian Fittipaldi have been lifetime rivals.
Okay.
Right.
If someone was going to punch somebody, I'm guessing that Oz might punch, although they get along today.
Right.
But
Nah,
they're families. It was
better
a
drama.
family-rooted Brazil go-kart days thing, right?
Hatfield, McCoy.
We used to have qualifying races in DP.
Yeah.
Qualifying races
Yeah.
on
Same in
Saturday.
GT back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those two took each other out. At Phoenix one, Phoenix Enfield course?
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah,
it's
horrible.
a 52-second lap, and
Horrible.
it's horrible.
Yeah.
Those two in a qualifying race destroyed half the field,
Right.
trying to kill each other. They both got Oz got thrown out for the weekend,
Nice.
and it roots back to 1983 in
Right.
freaking Brazil somewhere at some go-kart track, literally.
32 years ago.
And and that edge of Oz is gone now. I mean, meaning he's always had to prove, and
Now he knows.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
when Tony Kanaan, Helicaster Neves, Oz, and there's a couple other Gualter Salas. There's a couple other guys that came over in the late '90s, mid to late '90s. Oz got passed over. They had Marlboro supporting them, Marlboro South America.
Right.
Oz got passed over for that. Oz
So
ended
he's
up,
had to fight
Oz
everything.
ended up going to Mexico and racing F3 and made a good living in
That's right. That was the
F3.
thing he was known for. Yeah.
And then he came back and he was the test driver for Barber Dodge for
Wow.
4 years.
Right.
Put more miles than
Skip
anybody.
Barber.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Barber Dodge.
yeah, yeah.
Like he was the baseline. So when all these kids like Ryan Hunter, Ray, AJ,
Yeah.
you name who came through the
Right,
system.
right.
Oz always would race with them at FP1, right? And he would set the base, and then they would all kind of.
Right.
He paid his dues. He's made a living. He deserves to have a shot like this next year.
Yeah.
And that's what he's going to get. So when we sit at the table, the 5 of us, and I say, who's my guy going to be?
Yeah, that's the guy.
That's the first
Absolutely.
guy I'm going to say he deserves it.
Right.
You've gotten to work with some awesome people, like a real who's who of is there somebody out there that you haven't worked with yet and you might still that you're like, and you might not even know him, but you're like, that guy, I've always thought that guy or that girl was really cool. I'd like to work with that person.
Well, first off, I can tell you,
If you need a minute to eat, by the way, go ahead.
This pizza's killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you get? You got
I got
a
it.
chicken sandwich?
Yeah, chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of great drivers. I mean, and I love them. And I mean, if you think about who's driven for us, I mean, in the past, I mean, we've had Ryan Hunter Ray's been with me.
Yep.
I mean, Mark Goosens has been with me. Hiller Castro Neves. I mean, we've had Paul Tracy, who I got to tell you Paul Tracy's story. He I mean,
Yes.
he.
He might be on this season.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can get him on,
We believe
he's
we will.
awesome.
So.
Yeah.
And ask him about me but I've had all these people, and I bet you here's a good question: the best driver I've ever seen. I'm going to ask myself the best
Right,
driver I've
right.
ever seen. The best driver I've ever seen I just saw at Le Mans, and it's Lawrence Vantour.
Oh yeah. He's good.
I'm not kidding you. This guy, we took him to Monza and we tested at Monza before Le Mans. And even Oz said to me, Mike, I have no idea how he's doing this.
Yeah.
And Oz has looked at millions of miles of data.
Right.
I mean, like, Vantour and Pla are, Pla is very emotional, which I actually like. Pla is just dead. I mean, but
Right.
he is the fastest guy I've ever set my eyes on in my life.
Right.
And it'll be announced soon, but he turned my deal down. And he's going to have a
Yeah. Yeah. That was the big thing everyone was talking about.
Yeah.
Or the rumor.
Yeah. And but Pla, again, Pla at Petit just put on a clinic.
Yeah.
And the speed between him and Oz were not that different, but it was just Pla's ability, just however he did it, getting
Yeah.
through traffic.
Right.
Yeah.
Just huge chances and got away with it every single time.
Right.
Well,
People,
except for
there's
the pit lane thing.
yeah, well,
But that was
which
kind
one?
of
That was Bergmeister.
yeah, that was a pretty crazy.
Which is
situation.
weird because Jorg knows better.
Yeah. It was a weird deal.
I don't actually. I'm okay with what Pla did there because he could have panicked and we could have just been shit out of luck. We had
Yeah.
a 40-second lead.
Yeah,
at
he
that
just
time.
got it together and kept going.
He had an 8-second lead and they expanded it back to 20.
Like 20, yeah.
Before
exactly.
there's a couple guys. There's some young guys in Europe that Oz have had me watch that he's helped.
Yeah.
A guy named George Russell, who's a European F3 driver.
never heard of him.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There's so many young guys out there.
Yeah.
I hope there's some Americans. The American program with simulations now and go-karting now, I
Right.
mean, it's getting better and better and
Yeah.
better that I can see.
So we talked about Petit Le Mans just for a second earlier. Post-race, you guys win. Patron Racing ESM finishes second. Both running Ligier HPD-powered prototypes. The fallout from the event is that Ed Brown of Patron, he owns Patron, and he's also a driver and team owner, claims that Honda is essentially sabotaging their result because they know they're leaving to go to Nissan for the following seasons with 2 cars. And so they wanted Shank to beat that team because they're leaving. And when we kind of hinted around that, you wanted to talk about it.
Well, okay. So
What's your take?
Well, my engineer had a great weekend for sure. I mean, like how that goes. Sometimes they're heroes,
Yeah.
and sometimes they struggle. But let's go back even
I love it.
a couple steps. Do we forget who won the first 2 races this year?
Right.
Okay, number 1. Number 2. Ed Brown is the CEO of an extremely successful,
Yeah.
great company.
Yeah.
For him to come out and do that to not only HPD, but to our team, to my team.
Yeah, you're not good enough to beat me.
It's so unprofessional. I can't even, and I'm happy to go on record about this. Actually, Ed and I have always been fine with each other.
I've met him many times. It's been cool.
And Scott Sharp and I would venture to say we work well together.
Sean and I joke about this, that we appreciate that Ed Brown
He's normally outspoken in the way we like.
and this happened, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
huh.
And so the facts are this: if
And it's not hard to see if you go to imsatiming.com or .net, whatever it is. Every single segment of every
session
of
every weekend.
segment.
Yeah.
Either Pla was quickest or Oz was quickest in a given segment.
Yeah.
Right? Period. Okay? So I don't want to hear about acceleration,
Kill and power and all this stupid stuff, right?
I don't want to hear about it because you were not as quick as us in the corners.
Right.
Period.
Right.
Okay. Well, let's just put that as record right now, forever and forward, going forward.
Yeah.
If people want to know the facts, go to IMSA. Okay.
It's public information. Yeah. You just have to know where to go.
But let's just take it one step further. Ed and Honda have had a long relationship together. Ed has spent a fortune with them, or Patron has spent a fortune, so I respect that. But the way Ed handled it, he wouldn't shake my hand in Victory Circle.
No.
He wouldn't shake John Pugh's hand. No, this is not bullshit. This is
Because it's John Pugh's fault. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, and I got to tell you, I wrote emails to him and Scott and everybody after they won Daytona and Sebring.
Yeah.
Okay? And the way he handled it was so unprofessional. That's why I'm not afraid to go on record about this.
Right.
You don't need to edit this. I respect what he's done as a business person.
Sure.
I respect the fact that he supported a lot of people in our business for a long time. But the way he handled that was chicken shit at best. And I feel, especially with Honda, I thought they did some things with the hat dance with Honda on victory, because they did finish P2, by the way.
Yeah. Still second best out of really good teams. Yeah.
And they did some things on the hat dance that were extremely disrespectful, in my opinion. I just think the way he handled it was one of the most unprofessional things I've seen.
Yeah.
And that's it, really. That's the end of the day. And Scott and I have talked, and I told Scott this.
Yeah.
It's not a secret. And I've talked to Oak Racing, who ran the program for them.
Yep.
And who I have a huge relationship with.
Yeah.
Same thing. And that's it. We were happy for them.
Yeah.
And they weren't for us. And because they felt they were slighted. But the facts are the facts. Go look at IMSA.com or at IMSA Timing.
The thing that throws me off is that you're not afraid to speak your mind. And yet no one in the paddock talks about the attempted murder between Johnny O'Connell and Dario Franchitti.
Right.
I don't know anything about that.
Oh.
Huh. I think we're talking way too much damn racing.
All right.
Okay, best gangster movie that's out there.
Casino.
Ooh, I like Casino.
Okay.
Have you seen that one?
I have not. I'm sorry.
Dude.
Yeah.
Okay,
this has been the tour of disappointment.
You haven't. He hasn't seen Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Which is good. Patrick
Yeah,
Swayze
no,
is always good.
Classic, terrible, great movie.
With a dynamite mullet.
I consider myself pretty up on movies and TV.
Yeah,
it's
you're
my
like,
business.
You're like my go-to movie
guy.
guy.
You and I can instantly say a quote and immediately know what the movie is. But this tour, for some reason, I don't know half the damn movies we're talking about.
Casino's awesome. You should watch
I've never seen it. I know all about it. I've just never seen it.
The end of that movie where he's given the rundown on what happened to everybody.
Yeah.
Is my favorite because it ends, and I'm going to ruin this for you because this is
well,
your fucking
the
fault.
movie's like 30 years old.
Yeah.
Like I should know this.
He goes, but at the end of the day, I could still pick winners, and I was allowed to run the books.
Yep.
And that's that.
Sharon.
And that's it. And that's that.
And that's that.
And I just love how he's like, and on goes life. I was like, God, that's a great way to end a movie.
All right, best top 5 movies. Doesn't have to be gangster.
Without question, my number one favorite movie is I just lost. I've got too much.
Completely memorable.
No,
Legally
school.
blown.
Old School is my favorite.
That's
movie.
your number one?
All right.
It's mixes around there. I love Talladega. I like Will Ferrell a lot.
Yeah.
I really for me. I just have stupid comedy.
You don't have to defend it.
Yeah,
a lot of
there's
people like
Old
him,
School's
Sean.
What?
He's like defending it because you're like, oh, really?
No, it's like a number one movie. I love Old School. I love Will Ferrell, but
I think he's awesome.
Yeah.
I just get
I
his
love you, Blue.
comedy.
Blue, you my boy. Get it right.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
What's the best line?
Well, I mean,
Do you
Blue,
sit?
On which one?
Yeah, any of it. Like the old school, do you sit there?
Well, Talladega Nights is really good too.
Yeah,
Oprah
absolutely.
Winfrey, "On My Hair's on Fire." I mean, I like that. I piss excellence.
I can't remember who we were talking about, but we were like, yeah, we're going to interview Shank. And they're like, yeah, that guy likes to get fired up.
That was
I fell off.
Kettler.
Was that Kettler?
Yeah, well, because like Kettler, you and you and him have similar rules, and he was talking about how when it comes to like reacting to the sport, he always keeps a very level head.
I don't.
And you lose your shit.
Yeah, I bet. So that's a real weakness. Actually, I view that as a weakness on my part, and it's too. I just do.
Sure.
I just
It's
do.
human, though.
Like
It's a human reaction. Like, I appreciate that because I hate it when people just say the PR thing. I'd rather see, like, yeah, I'm mad. I don't like it.
Well, yeah, let's say like what is because I'm a believer, and you can see it with our clients' work. I'm a believer, and you take what somebody is, and you embrace it, and you build the brand
Sure.
around it. Like with you and like Matt Cleary and those guys.
Yeah.
Which is
14 years. He's been
14
with me.
yeah, exactly. Good dude. He needs to hire me for more videos though. Cleary's a good dude, but he's he by nature he likes a certain approach and being conservative, and he's a smart guy, so he knows this lasts. Do you guys ever like duke it out over? You got to stop losing, man.
There are times he definitely tells me, "You can't,
Yeah.
Mike. Listen, just don't do this.
Right.
Just don't."
Right.
And I know he knows kind of when I'm going to go off, and then what. I mean, he knows me pretty well now.
sure.
He knows where my
That was good.
points are.
And Matt Cleary being your PR guy.
Yeah. Sunday group, and Julie now. Julie kind of handles our account, which I'm totally cool with.
Julie's awesome. I kind of compare you to, like, the team owner version of John McEnroe.
Yeah. I don't.
You're good at what you do.
But go on.
What?
I don't think you get that emotional.
But look at our options. Like,
Yeah,
we
I
don't
get you.
have, like,
Yeah, we don't
one
have
guy
this
that actually
explosive
punches
guy.
people.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
But
I've had some. I fell off the wall at Watkins Glen one time. They got that on tape. Going after an official.
Right.
I got. I shoved my own crew guy that was trying to hold me back because I was going for an official that I thought was improperly
yes.
instigating. But it was more like a major league coach going after an ump. That's all it was.
Right. You just need to
Everyone
let
just
him know.
T-Rex arms it. And then we all kind of go to our corners, and we felt like we did something.
Right. I told him.
I looked out for you. Yeah.
I just.
But that's got to drive Cleary nuts because he's a very
Matt's got a way.
mild-mannered
He's
guy.
got a way.
Yeah.
He's got a plan.
No,
Yeah.
you guys, I'm going to share a video. We did a tribute video. So the Sunday after we won Petit, my wife did this wonderful thing at a place at a great facility for John, a brunch, right? And Art and Steve came and everything.
Great.
That's cool.
Anyways, it was a video, and we cut this video up, and Matt, for being a PR guy, Julie went around and took video snapshots.
Sure.
Tell me something about John. Why you approached?
Yeah.
Matt went on this fucking tirade where he started looking this way, looking that way. It was about this long.
Yeah.
And so my graphics guy that did the video thought it would be funny to cut away right in the middle of his speech, cut away from him.
Nice.
And do that about 5 times.
On a scale of 0 to completely drunk, how drunk was he?
I don't think he was, but it was so
Clary
funny.
drink?
I have no idea.
He
Cleary's
does.
not
He does.
human.
He does.
Okay.
He just had a kid.
Yeah, he's a dad now,
like
right?
4 days
now he
ago.
drinks a lot.
So.
Yeah.
Been a great part of my business. Been there since he, came out of Skip Barber at Lime
Yeah, he was
Rock.
doing Lime Rock for a while.
And it's been good to see his business grow, and he's going to be with us next year.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
He's going to do the program next year, and people have tried to poach our business from him for sure.
Sure.
But I stick with him. I think I'm a pretty loyal person.
Right.
And my engineer Dale has been with me 23 years. My
Wow.
gearbox guy 23 years. My crew chief 12 years. I don't like change, but I did add Tim Keene to my program
Right.
this year.
Sure.
Right.
I keep using the word tighten it up and allow me to do things to look out for 18, 19,
Yeah.
20.
of course.
Yeah.
And
Because conceivably, it's a 1-year deal, and this could be it.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. We know Honda's loyal.
Yeah,
but we
absolutely.
don't know what
You don't know
program
what's the
comes
future.
behind the next.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
and I are the same.
Yep.
We're the same.
Yep.
Right.
You heard
So-
that, right? Mike Shank said we're the same.
Well, I mean, we are.
Yeah,
I'm writing that
we
down.
are all on the pole. Look at our ass. Look at our
Right, right.
ass.
Look at me.
Look
Yeah.
at look how good we are. And I need to contain myself a little bit more. It hasn't happened in a couple years, I'll be honest with you. I haven't exploded like I used to.
So what triggers you? Just curious.
Just competition.
Oh,
I have an incredible.
There's no like flip your hat, no.
I mean, I've thrown it on the ground.
Well,
I haven't thrown a radio because I know I got to spend $1,200 to replace it.
But like Joey Hand's weak point is you flip his hat and you've hit the button.
Yeah.
Like, what's your button? Just if we want good ratings for Daytona next year.
Yeah, if we need to get a camera crew on you.
Yeah. Sorry, Matt.
It happened at Le Mans this year. I went crazy with a freaking French guy there. It's just wrong. Doing something. I don't know. It's just a blatant disregard for what the real rule is, and I know what the rule is. I memorize them. Yeah. I read rules on the way to the airport, on the airplanes, these things, know. And when it's blatant, and I've heard, and I've watched it not being, they just don't know the information. I know I'm right, and they do it anyways, and I feel like they persecute me and my team. Then I'm going to come.
Raise hell.
Yeah, and I've had to apologize to a lot of people. a lot of people, and I do, because it's really not personal. It's just my living.
Yeah.
So I guess it is personal.
It's completely personal.
I'm with you. Like, I get so riled up over the driver rankings thing because I'm like, literally, like, this is my livelihood.
And you should. And I feel for you guys, actually. I mean, it's a bad deal.
I'm doing fine. Like, I am so much better off than many people with better experience and more experience than I am. But it's just worked out the way it has. But that shit drives me crazy because it's like, you're literally affecting people's careers and livelihoods based on a.
I'm not arguing with that. I get that. I get that. But again, let's take one more step back.
All right.
Let's think about what Jim is trying to do with his series, with IMSA, and trying to make it a worldwide stage.
Okay.
They ultimately want other teams to come in.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, doesn't seem like that's really happening.
No,
right?
it's not. It hasn't.
But the premise is that this bridge has been built between the USA and the middle of France somewhere, right?
Right.
And it hasn't really worked.
I haven't seen anything to make me believe. And again, I would be fine with this system, which I don't agree with having anybody be ranked, if it was real. Like if Marco Seefried was actually an amateur.
Do you pay a lot of attention to forums, social media, that kind of stuff?
A little.
Because there's a specific reason I'm going here, but go ahead. No, it's not bad. It's not bad. But like you probably are going to be the closest we have to relationship with the France family on this whole thing. And if there's a continuous theme we've read all year, is that according to the forums, that NASCAR is going out of their way to ruin sports car racing. I saw this on the Magnus stuff, especially like typical NASCAR, and in my head I'm always like, you mean that the sport that's managed to figure out how to succeed in the U.S.?
The company funneling a lot of money into this series to keep it afloat?
And they don't have to with resources? This is the problem? I'm pretty sure not. But I'm curious where you stand on this.
It's complete bullshit.
Yeah, right.
It's complete 100% bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about, if you think about go read Big Bill's book.
Right.
Like Jim's dad,
Yeah.
Jim and Brian, or Jim and, Junior's
Bill
dad.
Jr., yeah.
I mean, he considered Daytona his front door, and Sebring his back door.
Right.
I mean, like that was just. I mean,
that's how
he
much
didn't
he
have
heralded
to go out of his way. He was trying. And I always picture him figuring out ways I could use these facilities I own and keep him more busy.
Right.
And a love came of sports car racing. From that, and he got the Bishops to come in and help him start IMSA.
Yeah.
And I just think that's the biggest bunch of horse in the world. If I had my way, we'd be racing at Bristol on the half mile.
I'm in.
I'm not kidding you.
Totally in.
So
I
I want to be where the people are. No, I'm not kidding you. I would run freaking Bristol.
Okay, Lally and Spence, I talk about this all the time. We're like, dude, half mile DP race would be killer.
Let it rip.
Be killer.
So you've never been on a conference call with Jim where it's like, hey, Mike, how do we this up?
No.
Like that's never happened?
No. I've been on a call where I said, Jim, we should go to Bristol.
Yeah.
I've been on a call, and so here's the thing.
Hashtag
NASCAR,
get Bristol going.
NASCAR spins. Now, I don't want to talk like I'm an insider because I'm really not, but I have relationships, right? But I can tell you this: NASCAR revere their fans.
Yeah.
They spend multiples of millions polling their fans to say, what do you want?
Yeah.
Right.
What are we not doing right?
Right.
They spend tens of millions on this, right?
Weird.
And
they
claim
resources.
They claim that the NASCAR folks want that the polls show, and this happened when we pushed very hard. So when I tell people what I do for a living, they say, what?
Yeah.
And I got to pull that picture up.
Yeah.
Right. This is what I do.
Right. They're like,
If I say I
for
do
a living?
if I do a NASCAR car, they know immediately.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't need a picture.
Right.
Okay. We want that when we're going
For
after
us.
sponsors.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
want
yeah.
that for all of this. But in their world, they claim, they want. So the year it happened, like in 08 or 09, whenever NASCAR officially took over the ownership of
Grand
Sports
Am.
Grand
Yeah.
Am,
Yeah.
they had to keep them separate. They made the logos kind of look a little bit
Yeah,
close,
yeah,
but. And I always kept saying, I need to be a NASCAR property.
I need you to be able to help
it.
myself.
Yeah, there
Help
was
myself.
another
scared-
Petaluma-based owner who used to do the same thing.
They're scared to death of their fan.
Yeah.
And they claim
terms
that,
of-
that sports cars wanted their fans. They wanted these separation
It's not a
of
bad
churches.
argument. So in other words, like, it's never been called like the NASCAR Road Racing Series because they're afraid of.
The connotation of that.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way, and I've
Sure.
told everyone in the
They
plan.
call it NASCAR Road Racing
just
or something.
give it to us.
Yeah.
Please let me deal with anything.
And the fear
bad.
is that they don't want to do that when there's Hondas and Porsches running.
My point is I want to be where the people are.
Yeah.
I want to be where
That's
the people
how
are.
you sell products.
If you go to a NASCAR race, they say the demographics don't line up, and I get most of that, except for the fact when you go to the infield at Talladega next week or
Yeah.
whenever, there's more $400,000 coaches in that thing.
Yeah.
than you
Than
can-
the sports car
Okay,
race.
so I don't totally buy that, but okay.
Sure.
I'm going to give you that one. We used to run the summer race at Daytona.
Paul
You
Revere.
remember?
Yeah.
Okay. And they didn't feel like we got treated really well there because we were kind of the undercard, way
Yeah,
under,
you were like
under,
the 11
undercard.
a.m.
Yeah,
race.
It was 99 degrees with 110% humidity. Nobody's happy.
Right.
At the end, though, I want to be where the freaking people are.
I hear you.
Right.
I totally hear you.
Put me where the people are.
Yeah.
Sure.
Don't put me where the people aren't.
I don't.
New Jersey Motorsports, Homestead, don't put me where they're not there.
I always like the idea of us running the Watkins Glen road
We
course
did
weekend
that.
on the short course.
We
'cause,
did
like,
that.
There's people watching.
We did that
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah.
And we'd run in the evening. I remember
Yeah.
doing that race up until it was. We had the headlights on.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right. Yeah. I like that.
but they haven't always gone by what I want. You
Right.
know?
But to sit here and say that they're out there to it up, yeah.
Yeah.
Is ridiculous. It's
Right.
the most uneducated, they just don't know. They don't know what goes in behind this.
Right.
And honestly, they don't know the investment that NASCAR, the France family,
Right.
have put into where we're at today.
Exactly.
For me, Jim France, people don't even come close to giving him what he's due.
Right.
And I've tried to tell JC that too. I mean, just his son, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an undying love for a sport that he could have easily walked away from. Just collected his checks.
That's always my argument when I read these posts, and I sometimes comment on them because I just can't help myself say, "You're an idiot. Shut up." Because people just say, "Oh, yeah, NASCAR's ruining sports car racing." I'm like, it wouldn't exist.
Yes, it's bailing it out. Let's knock this
Again,
off and
it's
adding resources.
like, let's call it what it is. It's not a self-sustaining
business. Yeah.
business model
Yeah.
right now.
What the is this in front of me? Is that a spider that's hanging down?
Oh, right in front of you?
Right in front of me.
Oh, yeah, that is a spider. Look
Yeah.
at that. Yeah. It's like right there.
Yeah, where is that coming from? Oh, it's
Right
from
up-
the-
right up top
the-
there.
Yeah.
Hey.
That looks just like a daddy long legs.
Yeah, it
so
is,
you're
but it
all
just
right.
caught me off guard. That's
Yeah.
all.
One thing that we looked into because we love making fun of the racer.com comment section
Yeah.
because they're so god awful sometimes.
Sometimes.
And we realized looking up Kettler,
Brad Kettler.
like we'd look up articles on Racer and see what the comments say.
Yeah,
see
it's
what
always
like
good.
the
It's
real
good stuff.
dirty.
It's good
well,
stuff.
it used to be
It
good
used to be
stuff.
good, and now we're claiming that we fixed the Racer comments thread with last season
Okay.
because now we look at them and all the arguments seem to be pretty level-headed.
Like
arguments.
reasonable?
Yeah,
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, oh, that guy's just got a good point.
All the NSX articles
Yeah.
with you guys being announced are like reasonable
Yeah,
statements.
you know
It's
what I think they're doing is they're trying to promote the car. You're like,
Like,
whoa,
like, yeah, and
whoa.
like, well, that's the other thing is like the forums, which are known for hate.
Look at it in 2013 when Yakima was driving.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, good idea. Good idea.
Yes, now we have to.
Yeah.
But like all we did on the podcast last year was make fun of the forums. So of course we're going to take
Okay.
credit for them being fixed. We
Okay,
fixed
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Racer owes us a check.
But I will say, literally 100% of the forum comments when it came to you getting a factory Acura deal were positive. Like, oh, good for him. He's our local guy, or
the
whatever
most,
it was.
The most negative thing we could find was, I hope Real Time brings a car too.
yeah.
That was the
it.
worst
Okay,
thing.
well, I'll
was it.
take
I was
that.
like,
Yeah.
this is a fair argument. Like, they're just a
Okay.
good post.
Well,
But-
what's funny is that in saying all that, it brings a lot of pressure to us too, because now we have an opportunity. Yeah, we got to deliver. We'll see how it goes. It's yet to be determined.
You're fine. You're way ahead of the curve. Like IndyCar just gets burned to the ground on that site. So yeah, you're good.
You're fine.
Along those lines, though, one of the things you did at Petit I thought was really cool was you let the fans sign
Holy
your
cow.
prototype, and I got to see all the pictures on
Yeah.
social media, and
Yeah.
I was like, wow, they really took to it.
So that's an interesting thing. The car is sitting in my shop right now on the ground, just as it was raced.
Yeah.
It's going to go to the PRI show in the Borg Warner booth.
Oh, cool.
They
Oh,
asked,
cool.
they asked
As
I'll
is.
be there.
as is.
That's
So all
awesome.
the rubber
Yeah.
is on it, all the nasty, but all those signatures survived.
Yeah.
All of them.
That's cool.
And there's thousands.
Yeah.
I mean, and literally, we did a Friday night thing at Petit after qualifying, and then we did a thing on the grid. And people, and we kept a couple, people tried to sign the windscreen.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
This is before the race, right?
Right.
But what's funny about that is that costs us nothing.
Yeah.
It
Right.
literally costs
Right.
us nothing.
Yeah.
But what it does is it takes away, not only for Honda, but for IMSA in general,
Right.
a positive feeling that I signed that car and it just freaking won the race.
Yeah, exactly right.
And they followed it and they'll talk about it for
That's right.
all winter
That's right.
as a positive thing.
Yeah.
Easily the second best team with fans.
Second best.
One of your biggest fans is a fan that will totally get a shout out, is a massive supporter of yours, Vicky Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Where does the Vicky Miller Mike Shank relationship start?
That is a good question.
Because she bleeds for MSR.
Yeah.
You guys are her team.
Did you guys buy her a hard card?
No.
Oh,
But
okay.
when did that start? Like, what's the story?
I think maybe it started. She would know. I mean, maybe 06 or 07 with Pugh and Patterson together.
Oh, way back. Okay.
I think what happened, and she'll be. I'd be happy to take corrections from her on
Yeah.
this, but I just think that she hit us on the right weekend, the first time she ever experienced racing
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
IMSA or Grand Am at the time, and we gave her full access right
Yeah.
away, for whatever reason. And Oz was extremely nice to her right away.
Yeah, he's nice
And
to everyone.
He is,
He's the
and
best.
I think there was this kind of initial bang, right? And she appreciated it.
Yeah.
And we've done different things to kind of honor her. Is that a good word or not?
good.
But
Yeah.
one of the Daytonas, we let her sign the car, I think, or no, we had a decal for her.
That's
and
right.
We took pictures with
Yeah,
AJ
yeah.
and Justin and all those guys, and she appreciated that. She's never wavered. I mean, she's got her own little world now that
Yeah.
I don't keep up with too much, but it's interesting. Our fan, we have more fans. Considering what we do, we're not Jeff Gordon,
Yeah.
we're not Danica,
Yeah.
we're not, but we have a lot of hardcore people that care a lot about us.
That's correct. Yeah.
And that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that will translate, I hope, into the NSX program. Also, I think it's an honor, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
that people actually give a about what we're doing and the way we go about doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they really got to hang out with me for like this, if they would really feel that way later. But
I've changed my mind.
well, I mean, anybody drinks Busch Light, it's questionable.
You got to start questioning their decision
Mhm.
process. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you heard the Bill Riley episode.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So when as we wrap up here,
Yeah.
what's the legacy you're hoping to leave with something like this? Like what
I
do you
think
wish
it's
people
simple.
knew about you?
It's really simple. There is no one in the paddock that's going to ever outwork me. It's not possible. So if I need to clean the rails off of my lift gate, I do that. There's no one in the paddock that's going to outwork me. If you're willing to work, I mean really work, not bullshit work.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you deserve to get what you get, and it's what I got, which is true success. And that's really it. Have a work ethic, and take chances, live hard, live rough,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Drink Busch Light.
And drink Busch Light.
It's a little cheesy, but I'm just telling you, it's the way it is.
That's kind of right in line with what Brad Kettler said. We talked to him today, and he was kind of giving advice to a young engineer, because normally the question we get is, hey, if I was a driver, how would I get the ride or whatever? And we thought, what, Brad, he's a
I don't know Brad, actually.
really?
No.
But you're familiar with him.
Yeah.
Okay. So his kind of thing, I said, Brad, you're a Le Mans winning engineer. Like, what can a young engineer do to make it? Because the common theme we had for drivers, I'm sure you'll agree with this, but Lally was a big proponent. He was like, never get
Bitter.
Never get bitter. My thing is I always tell drivers, be likable, because no one wants to spend a year
a
with
dick.
someone they don't like. Yeah. And Brad's was, even when you're starting out as an engineer and you think you know everything, you don't. help load the trailer, help clean the car, help sweep the floor, like all
Put the
those
Kiwi
things.
tile up.
Like literally, he's like, be on the team.
Mhm.
Don't separate yourself, because as soon as you do that, it's you versus them, and no team likes that. So kind of like what you're saying.
He's 100% right.
You're not going to outwork.
He's
me.
more than 100%.
Do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On my team, everyone, all the engineers, everyone sets the canopy up.
Right. That's he specifically said that. On that same kind of token, we have a pass-along question we do for every episode.
Sure.
And so Brad Kettler, who we had lunch with earlier today, he's a Le Mans winning engineer for Audi and longtime sports car racing engineer, team manager, etc. His pass-along question, he's 2.5 hours away, was, and very, very excitedly asked, why haven't we worked together? He's like, we're down the street. We're Ohio boys.
Where's he at? I don't even know where he's at.
He's in
College
Corner, Ohio.
which is literally like a city
border
that
of Indianapolis.
literally
He
borders.
doesn't even know what it
I don't
is.
even know where it is.
Yeah.
Literally, the city is between Ohio and Indiana to the point that, like, if you're on the western side of the city, you're in Indiana. If you're on the eastern side,
If you're
in Ohio.
standing on his front door of one of his 8 buildings,
Yeah.
you can see the Indiana
literally,
state line.
some of his shop is in Indiana, and some
Is
of his
that
shop
so?
is
He's
in
near
Ohio.
Eldora, probably.
Whoa,
no
we
clue.
should have gone to Eldora.
It doesn't
on
matter.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I have no idea. I consider him a level above me, maybe. I mean,
really?
Fair
All
enough.
right.
Fair enough.
Well, I mean, he's
He's moved up to executive level.
he's probably EVP,
Oh,
Sure. Okay.
and I'm a junior coming up.
Fair enough.
And I guess that's the way to say I'm younger than him. I'm kidding. I don't know. I have even no idea if that's true or not. I have no idea why we haven't.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
He'd fit in. He likes beer. And
Yeah.
he's
He's
good.
just a guy.
He's a good dude.
He's just an Ohio boy.
So following through with that, tomorrow we have dinner with Mark Miller, who races for C.J. Wilson in the Continental Tire Series,
Mm-hmm.
as well as some kid named Bill Riley in the GTD IMSA class from time to time. Any question you could think to ask Mark Miller, not necessarily serious, not about racing.
Yeah,
or
give me 3 reasons why he drives for Bill Riley.
Boom.
Just 3
I like
reasons.
that. And I'll argue each one of those points.
he ruined my career.
Point,
Mike Shank.
counterpoint.
So speaking of Riley and IndyCar programs, how are we gonna get the MSR Indy program going?
Yeah, boy, that's something that's going to happen.
Well, you got a great engine now.
We got a great. I got a great partner. I bought a car in 2012.
Right.
And I had a partner, a guy named Brian Bailey, who's a big supporter of my business.
Yeah.
And we spent a bunch of money and lost a bunch of money because I had a Lotus. I was a Lotus.
yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Had a budget. We had a Jay Howard. I had some sponsors. An English driver named Jay Howard had some sponsors, and we were trying to make Indy happen in 12.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I refused to have anything part of it. I did not want to have to go to and he had Jim Beam as a sponsor, and I didn't want to go to their booth or their suite and explain why we got black flagged after 10 laps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black flag for you're
For
too
being too
slow to
slow.
be
Yeah,
out.
right. Yeah, that's not.
I paid my dues. I've paid my
Yeah,
dues.
you don't do that.
And
Yeah.
you still got the chassis?
So no, I sold it to Sam.
Okay.
I took we lost. He and I lost. I don't know. I hate this. My wife knows, but I mean, it's a couple $100,000. When you take a couple $100,000 off my bottom line,
Yeah.
it's
problem.
painful.
Yeah.
It's a real big problem.
Yeah.
And we've recovered. Not to say we haven't, but I'm just saying that it was. And Jim France told me not to do it.
Really.
He told me not to do it, and I just have the love. I'm 3 hours.
You want to go?
Right.
You want to go?
16th and
Can you move the mic
Georgetown.
from your mouth just a little?
Yeah.
Okay, somehow it got closer. Further away. A little bit. Somewhere in between. There you go.
Yeah. So.
A little closer.
Yeah. Better.
There you go.
Okay.
Sure.
So. Yeah. I'm just saying that I want to go to the place. I want to do that race.
Yeah.
I don't have a huge push to do the whole series, to be honest, because I want to have a life.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But the 500,
The
especially
500
coming
is
from
a-
where you're coming here in Ohio,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
just miles
I
away.
used to get the Indianapolis newspaper just for the month of May.
Yeah.
Just to get the daily stories
right.
before the internet. And as a kid, I mean, we listened to the radio. My dad and I, playing with all our hot rods in the garage and stuff, we would listen to the month of May
Right.
as much as we could on the radio. And
So you've done Le Mans, you've won Daytona. Is that kind of, you feel like you've got to do that to kind of complete the bucket list of team
I
ownership
got to do
roles?
it.
That's
Okay.
cool.
So there's going to be a payday there. There's some, all this money, any money that we have left over at the end of this thing will probably go some toward making sure that happens.
Right.
And hopefully some of our partners will come along with us and friends that I'll hijack their businesses and make them pay for it. But,
All right.
Get Busch Light as a sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
Well-
supported enough.
We'll roll that into our podcast sponsorship.
Right.
You know, they
Right.
can be this title sponsor of our podcast.
Busch Light.
And yeah, Busch Light.
Okay.
The Dinner with Racers sponsored by Busch Light and Continental Tire.
Yeah.
And then we'll roll in an Indy 500 program as well.
Of course.
For a
We'll be the
cool-
first
yeah.
podcast to have their own IndyCar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Probably not assholes.
I got nothing.
I remember, you know, it's funny. I was just sitting here thinking about things, and I remember at a workshop I had down toward campus of Ohio State, the Ohio State University. I had a shop down there for 9 years in the hood, man. It was rough, and I remember specifically adding an addition to this building myself, because I had my prep shop down there, digging the footers, and it was mud.
Yeah.
And a bobcat. I was down there in the footers putting these fucking concrete, and I'm thinking to myself the whole time, I guarantee you Bobby Rahal is not digging
this,
my
right.
footers right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And just to get to where, from that point, which was say 95,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
to kind of where we're at now is
Right.
It's awesome.
yeah. And someday I've got some great stories. I wish I could tell them all, but we will sometime.
We gotta wait for the statute of limitations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
run out.
We
There's
got at least 7 more seasons, right, Continental?
Please.
So for the record, Mike refused to let Continental get the check on this one, but we've out-argued.
We tried to get Shank to buy us dinner and he wouldn't do it.
I will-
Unfollow.
We have
unfollow me on Twitter. If Sherry Herman's paying for this, we need to change that.
Sherry Herman's not paying for it.
Sherry's company.
The-
is-
I've spent a couple bucks with Continental.
I'm finished.
Wow, that was such a great episode. That guest really knew how to tell a story.
I agree with your comments about Mike Shank, Ryan, who's sitting right next to me.
You're welcome, Sean. I'm right here.
All right, thanks to Mike Shank for putting himself out there, and some cool stories, especially a few things that really none of us knew about. So, all right, in honor of the sort of slightly cloudy state that Mike was in at the end, I could think of one guy's music that I would want to put out there. A guy that I used to work at the History Channel with named Anthony Lax, who has a band called Stoney Spring. We played a couple songs of theirs last year. He's got another interesting song, probably the most unique one we'll play all season. Here's a song called USA.
Yeah. Act 1. The Machine
Guardians of freedom, are you ready? Free thinkers of the world, are you ready to think freely at last? People of the earth, are you ready to stand up for your planet?
in the USA, USA. Baby tattoo in the USA, USA. Selfie, 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 USA, USA. Mommy, daddy killed me, USA, USA. Took a shit on baby, USA. Kill me, USA. Likey, USA. Techie, USA. I killed my neighbor in the USA. Pissy, sissy, USA. Fucky, sucky, USA. Selfie in the USA. I work for Ping Pong Tattoo USA. You like my blog? Tweety, tweety. I have a tattoo on my blog.
Ready to work together?
I work for Ping Pong Tattoo USA. I live a shit on baby USA. Hey, kill me, USA. I like the USA. I don't remember USA. I forgot about the USA. We're all doing great.
Act 2. I'm quite wealthy and comfortable.
Someone's been sleeping on my carpet. What do I know? I try to do something. I know. What about the alligators? Oh, just a little second here. Tired of it. Oh, I'm so tired of it. Yeah. Oh, just keep going. Just keep going for another minute. Another minute. And another hour. And then another day. And another week. Oh, kill me, kill me, kill me, USA. Selfie, 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 USA. Scurvy, 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 USA. Poison, poison, plague, USA. Poison gas cloud in the USA. They killed the babies in the USA. Shoot everybody, kill them all. And they will live to be very small. And they will live underground in their cavern and hook their brains up to this moment.